betrayed by his own. A portal to a new world opens. Can Issei find strength and friendship whip among the—
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Was Betrayed and Went to My Little Pony Equestria Girls with Serafall Murayama movie. Before we start, please go support Josu Sickle 5 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken characters' gender, but of course Issei is a male. Clarifications. 1. The prologue chapter will be divided into 2 parts. 2. The first part of the prologue will focus on Saito and Louise and what happened after the end of Zero no Tsukeme. 3. The second part will focus on Issei, Serafall, and Murayama, and Issei's story begins after the battle against the Trihexa. 4. In the battle against Trihexa, 4 girls from Issei's harem died and they are Zenovia, Irina, Hiroka, Y-shaped. 5. In this story Issei will be betrayed by the other girls in his harem, and here I will also try to focus on the fall of the dragon. 6. Both Serafall and Murayama fell in love with Issei for different reasons, you will know why. 7. In this story Issei will not have a harem, I think that is clear in the title of the story. 8. As I already mentioned, some of Issei's enemies will be in the world of Equestria Girls, but they will appear at some point. Chapter Prologue, Part 1. This story begins after Saito and Louise return from Saito's world, that is, Earth, and then they both continue on their honeymoon. Time would pass, more specifically a year, where in that year the other girls who felt something for Saito married him, even Agnes and Montmorency, who admitted what they felt for Saito. Of course at first Louise got a little angry, but in the end, she ended up accepting since Saito told her that she will always be the first and only. After that the first 3 months of a new year would pass. During those first 3 months, the relationship between Saito and the other girls who were now his wives was going great, but in the 4th month something started to happen, and it is that the girls began to distance themselves from Saito, except Louise. His sister Henrietta and Tabitha, well, although these two were in their duties as queens, but the other girls like Kirktefania, Siesta, Agnes and Montmorency did begin to distance themselves from Saito, but Louise was always by her husband's side to cheer him up and not be sad. But something would happen to our dear Saito and his beloved Louise. Current events. We see Saito walking happily towards his house with a smile. He had gone to train with Derflinger to train his Gandalf magic power, that is, the power that is in his magic runes. Saito narrates. I went to train with Derflinger since I can't always depend on the things of my world and Louise's magic. I must become stronger if I want to protect all my wives, although now that I think about it, my power increased a little since when I married the others, other runes appeared on my body. Mr. Colbert explained to me that this is because apart from marrying them, I became their guardian spirit. Well, now I hope that the girls are no longer so far away from me. Normal narration. Saito. You know, Derflinger, I keep wondering why they started to distance themselves from me. Derflinger. Well, I wouldn't know how to tell you, my friend, but I'm sure they're just stressed or busy with something, I don't know. Saito. Okay, fine, hey, do you think I need more advanced training? Derflinger. What we are doing is not enough. Saito. Yes, but I need to become stronger and be able to use all my power to the maximum if I want to protect my wives. Derflinger. Wow, buddy, you're very excited, but hurry up because we're still a long way from home. Saito. You're right, let's go. So Saito would continue walking towards his house. Meanwhile with Louise. She was helping her sister with some queen duties as she needed Louise's magic for those duties. Author's note. I don't know if Henrietta is Louise's sister, so if anyone knows, please confirm it for me 100% at the end of the note. Louise narrates. My life is the best now that Saito is my husband, everything is very happy for me, but I wonder why the hell the others distanced themselves from him, that is very strange. I even asked my sister if she has seen the girls around town or at the magic school, but she says she hasn't seen them, neither does Tabitha know why the girls act like that, even so I would like to know why. Normal narration. Henrietta. Hey Louise, are you okay? I notice you're a bit pensive. Louise. Yeah, I'm fine, I just keep thinking about it. Henrietta. Why the girls started to distance themselves from Saito. Louise. If that's what's happening, it's very strange. Henrietta. I would help you, but you know that because of my duties I can hardly go see him, and that even though he is my husband. Louise. I guess so. Tabitha. Same thing happens to me. At that Louise would get scared and scream in fear. Louise, don't scare me like that, Tabitha. Tabitha. I just came to ask you if you know where Saito went. Louise. Well, he told me he was going to train a little. Henrietta. And the girls? Louise. Well, they just told me they were going to do a small order, but they didn't tell me what it was. Tabitha. Well, for now let's continue with what we were doing. Henrietta. You can go home later. Louise. Okay. Tabitha's thoughts. Tabitha. I don't know why, but I have a feeling something bad will happen to Saito and Louise soon, but what is it? Out of your thoughts. Louise would continue to help her sister Henrietta and Tabitha as well. Meanwhile with Saito. He had already arrived home even though he was tired because he had run too much. Saito. Well, I'm here, it may have taken me a long time. Derflinger. Yes, but hey, is there no one there what? I can't hear anything. Saito. That's true, but I'll go check. At that Saito would leave Derflinger near the entrance, but Derflinger would fall. Derflinger. It's a joke, why are you leaving me where I could fall? Meanwhile, Saito would be going up the stairs but would hear some strange noises in one of the rooms. Saito. And what are those noises? Well, it's from that room, so I'll check it out. Then that Saito would see that the door was slightly open and the closer he got he would smell a strange smell. Once he was in front of the door he would open the door a little more and what he would see there would break his poor heart. Saito narrates. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There they were, Kirk, Tiffania, Siesta, Agnes and Montmorency having sex with someone who I didn't think would be capable of that. It was Gitch. I was still impressed and I listened to everything the girls were saying, that they would like to leave me and go with Gitch. That and other things they said about me. I never believed they would dare to do that to me. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I walked away quietly and slowly went down the stairs until I was in front of the door. Normal narration. At that, a cry of pleasure and lust would be heard, which was from a nap because she was being completely filled. Upon hearing that, Derflinger would know why his friend and companion was like that. Derflinger. Hey buddy, are you okay? Saito sad. No, I'm not. At that Saito would leave the house and start running, while his face began to fill with tears and he would continue running to a specific place. Meanwhile, Louise was already arriving at the house, but upon entering, she would see that Derflinger was lying near the entrance and then she would grab him and then say. Louise. Derflinger, is that really you? Derflinger. Of course, Miss Louise, what other sort could speak like me? Louise. You're right, but tell me if you're here, does that mean Saito is here? Derflinger. He actually ran away from here about 17 minutes ago. Louise. And why? Derflinger. If you want to know, go upstairs and look in one of the rooms. You'll find the reason there. Louise confused. Ueki is okay. At that point Louise would start to climb the stairs and would see one of the rooms and from there some strange noises would come and as she got closer, she would see the same thing that Saito had seen, thus getting angry. Louise narrates. I can't believe how is it possible that they dared to do that to Saito, those damn things are just bores, okay I have to calm down, I have to go find my dear Saito, I don't have time to waste. Normal narration. Louise would go down the stairs and grab Derflinger and start running to find her beloved husband Saito. Meanwhile, Saito and I had arrived at a bar where we saw many drunk guys while sad music was playing. Saito would ask for his order, but he wouldn't start drinking that much, but then the next song would be heard. Then that Saito would continue drinking while he remembered the moments he lived with the girls who betrayed him and would become sadder while he did not stop crying. Saito narrates. What did I do wrong? Was I just a toy for them? Did they never love me and only loved that damn bastard? Why did they do that to me? Normal narration. Saito was already a little drunk, but he was still conscious and as he continued listening to the song, he would start to cry more while he continued asking himself the same question. But then someone would enter the bar and it was none other than Sylphid. Bartender. Oh Miss Sylphid, what brings you here? Sylphid. Well, my mistress told me to look for her husband. Well, obviously I'm also looking for him because he's also my husband. Bartender. Well, if you're talking about young Saito Hiraga, then he's at that table. At that Sylphid would see that Saito was drinking and also that he was crying. Sylphid. What the hell is she doing here and why is she crying? Bartender. Well, I have no idea why he's crying, but he started drinking, but he's still conscious, so don't worry, but you can take him if you like. Sylphid. Thank you sir. At that Sylphid would approach where Saito was. I would just say that when I see it. Saito sad. Sylphid, what are you doing here? I thought Tabitha wouldn't let you see me. Sylphid. Well, he told me that he will look for you since he wanted to see you and besides, I also know that we are your wives, but tell me why you are crying. Saito sad. If I told you, you wouldn't believe me, besides, I want to be here. Sylphid. No sir, as one of your wives I will take you home by force if necessary. At that, Sylphid would grab Saito by the shoulders and would begin to drag him while Saito just continued sadly. 6 minutes later. Sylphid continued dragging Saito, but then Sylphid would see Louise and she would make a sign and Louise would approach. Louise. Sylphid, no, Tabitha isn't supposed to let you out without permission. Sylphid. Well, she told me to look for our husband. Louise. If you're looking for Saito, I don't think you'll find him since I've been looking for him for a while and I can't find him. Sylphid. But yes, I found it and looked. At that Louise would see Saito and see the sad face he had. Louise. Saito, it's me Louise, here I am. Saito, upon hearing the voice of his beloved Louise, would put on a happy face since despite what the girls did to him, he still had his other wives. At that Saito would start to cry, but he would be hugged by Louise. Louise. Don't worry, you can vent to me. At that Saito would start to cry, while Louise comforted him with the help of Sylphid. After Saito calmed down, he would feel a small burning sensation in his body, and he would see that the runes that represented the girls who betrayed him would turn black and disappear. Saito. Wow, what the heck was that? Louise. I have no idea. Sylphid. Why don't you ask Master Colbert, maybe he can help you. Saito. You're right, but Sylphid could ask you to take Henrietta and Tabitha to the magic school, since they also need to know what happened. Sylphid. It's okay, but remember that there's still me and my mistress and Miss Louise and Henrietta. At that Sylphid would give a quick kiss on Sato's lips and she would leave in her dragon form. Louise. Okay, let's go. Saito. Yes, let's go. By the way, Derflinger, sorry for not getting up from the floor. Derflinger. Don't worry, buddy. Then the three of them would go to the magic school. Hours later. Saito had told them everything that happened to Master Colbert and Tabitha and Henrietta, which made them upset, but they would calm down later. Mr. Colbert. Well, I think what happened with the runes was because they betrayed you, as if they had broken the guardian spirit contract. Saito. So that's why the runes disappeared, but the good thing is that the ones representing Louise stayed with me. I couldn't bear to lose them. Henrietta. You'd better stay here at the magic school with Louise since Tabitha and I have to return to the castle. Tabitha. But remember, we're here for whatever you need, husband. Saito. Heh, thanks girls for being with me. Sylphid. I guess I have to go with you. Tabitha. Obviously, but well, we're leaving. Have a good night. At that Tabitha and Henrietta and Sylphid would leave. Meanwhile, Saito and Louise would arrive at the room they shared when they were in magic school, where Louise would see that Saito had a guitar. Louise. Hey Saito, what's that guitar for? Saito. Well, I wanted you to listen to this song that I composed for you. Derflinger. Oh how cheesy. Saito. Shut up Derflinger. Derflinger. Okay, I'll shut up. You guys keep doing what you're doing and ignore me. Louise. And you'll sing me the song. Saito. Yes, I hope you like my love. At that Saito would start singing the next song. At the end of the song, Louise would go and hug her husband tightly. Saito. And tell me you liked it. Louise. I loved it so much. Saito. Well, I think it would be better to go to sleep. Louise. You're right. Then they both lay down on the bed hugging each other. Without knowing that something bad would happen to them. The next morning. Saito and Louise would get up and then go take a bath and then get dressed and go to the cafeteria, but they would see that there was no one there. Saito. There's not supposed to be anyone here at the cafeteria today. Louise. Well, seeing that it's Sunday, I guess there are no classes. Derflinger. Instead of talking, eat something. Saito. You're right, Derflinger. Then the cooks would prepare breakfast for both of them and they would eat happily. After eating, Saito and Louise would go to the courtyard where the guardian spirit invocations were performed. Saito. I'm so nostalgic to come here. Louise. If it's true, this is where you and I met. Saito. If you know, I never regret having met you because you are a great girl and I am glad that you are my wife. Louise. Me too. At that moment, both of them would give each other a tender and loving kiss. As they separated, Saito would go to the grass and pull Derflinger out of his sword. Saito. Good time to train. Derflinger. Let's do it, mate. Louise. I'll be here watching you. At that point, Saito would start training, giving many thrusts and movements with Derflinger, while he began to release part of his magical power, and at that point, Sato's runes would begin to shine, and he would give a great burst of air while making a spinning thrust. Derflinger. Wow, I think the runes representing Miss Louise are very powerful. Saito. You don't even need to say it. Louise. Well, what do you think if we go get something to eat? Saito. Okay, let's go then. At that moment, both of them would start walking, but then Derflinger would see that several magical attacks were heading towards them. Derflinger. Be careful, mate. Saito. What are you doing? But then the magic attacks would hit Saito and Louise making them retreat, but they had a few wounds since Louise had activated a magic shield. Saito. Louise, are you okay? Louise. Yes, don't worry. And that Saito and Louise would see all the students of the magic school and the girls who betrayed Saito along with Gitch. Saito? What the hell do you think you're doing? Louise? Maybe they're crazy. Bitch. We only do what is right. Perk. Kill you. Saito. Louise. Kill us for what? Siesta. Why you are a threat. Ephania. You must die. Agnes Montmorency. You don't deserve to live, you will only bring danger. All students. So now die. At that Louise would take out her magic wand and begin to use her void magic. Old Saito took out Derflinger again and put himself in a combat stance. Saito. We have to be careful, Louise. Louise. I know, we have to take care of them. Derflinger. Then keep fighting. And so Saito and Louise would start fighting against everyone and several hours would pass and Saito and Louise would start to lose the advantage they had a few hours ago. At that point everyone would do a combined attack that would hit Saito and Louise, causing a huge explosion. 1 hour later. Saito and Louise were lying on the ground with several wounds and in a pool of their blood, both of them no longer had the strength to fight. Bitch. Now that they are like this, it's time to finish them off. Perk. You know Saito, I thought I loved you, but I think I was wrong. Siesta. You're just a weak guardian spirit and I thought I loved you, but I don't now I know I love Gitch. Ephania. You're just a stupid Saito now I'll be with my dear Gitch who makes me happy unlike you. Montmorency. Wow, I never should have left my beloved Gitch for you if you're just trash. Agnes. Just like that stupid Louise, she's just like you. Perk. Siesta. Ephania. Montmorency. Agnes. We should never have married a stupid piece of trash and scum like you. At that point the girls would take off their wedding rings and then destroy them. Perk. Now we can all be with our beloved Gitch. In that, they would all hug Gitch. While Saito seeing that would only feel too sad that he would look at how Louise was still conscious. Saito. I'm sorry, Louise, I couldn't be strong enough to protect you. Louise. Don't worry cough cough you know if we're going to die I'm glad we'll die together as husband and wife. Saito. Yes you're right cough cough. In that, they would both hold hands. Then everyone can charge up all their strongest magic attacks. Everyone. Now die. At that the combined attack would go towards Saito and Louise, but at that a great light would appear and at that Saito and Louise would be unconscious and at that a strange portal would appear and absorb Saito and Louise and also obviously Derflinger. At that moment, when the light disappeared, everyone would see that Saito and Louise were no longer there. Student 1. Maybe we could have killed them. Student 2. I don't know. That's what Gitch would say. Bitch. They are officially dead. All. Yes we did it. Perk. Why don't we celebrate our victory? Siesta. Sounds like a great idea, what do you think, Gitch-kun? Bitch. Well then let's do it. Ephania. Montmorency. Agnes. Then let's all go celebrate. Everyone. See. At that point everyone would leave. Meanwhile, Master Colbert would emerge from the shadows and see the place where Saito and Louise were. Mr. Colbert sad. Saito, Louise, I'm sorry, I hope you can rest in peace. At that, Master Colbert would start to cry, but then he would say. Mr. Colbert. This will not stay like this. I have to inform Miss Henrietta and Mrs. Tabitha and Sylphid. So Master Colbert would run away and leave the magic school without anyone seeing him. But what no one knew was that Saito and Louise didn't die, they just disappeared. Chapter Prologue, Part 2. This story begins after the battle against the Trihexa in which everyone fought with all their might against the beast of the apocalypse, managing with great effort to defeat the Trihexa, but losing some lives. 6 months would have passed after the battle against the Trihexa, where nothing important happened until today. Present. We can see our favorite chestnut tree with 4 bouquets of flowers, and he was heading to a specific place. Issei narrates. Hello, my name is Hyodo Issei, I am a demon from the Gremory clan, and I am also the current Sekiryuutei. I'm sure you're wondering where I'm going. Well, I'm going to leave flowers for some people I loved, but they died to save me so I could defeat the Trihexa, but their death still hurt me too much. Normal narration. Issei was in front of about 4 graves where he would put a bouquet of flowers on each of the graves. Issei. Zenovia, Irina, Kaneko and Kuroka too, don't know how much I miss you, you shouldn't have died, if only I could have defeated the Trihexa quickly, you wouldn't have died, and I really miss you too much. Flashback time ago. We see Issei with many wounds and that an attack from the Trihexa would be directed towards Issei, who could not launch a dragon shoot. Issei. Damn, I can't launch an attack. Greg. Buddy, do something before you die. But in front of Issei would be 4 girls from his harem, and those would be Zenovia, Irina, Kaneko and Kuroka. Issei. Girls what do? Zenovia. We are protecting you Issei-kun. Irina. We won't let you die. Issei. But if you protect me from the attack you will die. Kaneko. We know senpai, and that's why we'll do it to save him. Hiroka. You are the only one who can finish off the Trihexa. Issei Naya, you have to believe in us. Issei. But I don't want to lose them, I don't want them to leave me alone. At that Issei would be shedding several tears, the girls would see how the other girls and the others who help in the battle are reacting little by little. At that point the girls would approach Issei, and each one would give their beloved brown-haired boy a kiss on the lips and then hug him. When they separated, the girls would stand in front and say, Zenovia. Issei-kun, remember this, we will never leave you alone. Irina. No matter what happens, we will always be watching over you like guardian angels. Kaneko. We will always be by your side, Issei-senpai, but you must move forward and continue loving others as you love us. Hiroka. Exactly, promise that you will continue. Naya, promise us that, please. Issei Naya. Issei crying. Yes girls, I promise I will continue along with the other girls, even if you are no longer here. Zenovia. Irina. Kaneko. Kuroka. That makes us happy, and remember we will always be with you, in your good heart, goodbye Issei-kun. Senpai. Naya. And that the girls would push Issei and then go towards the Trihexa attack and would manage to stop it, but in the process dying. Seeing that, Issei would activate the Cardinal Crimson promotion with all his power and then go attack the Trihexa, and with the help of Volley Lucifer and the others, they would all manage to defeat the Trihexa. After that a funeral would be held for those who fell in the battle against the Trihexa. After the funeral Issei would stay watching the graves, but it would not only be in the underworld. At Rias' request some graves for Zenovia and Irina and Kaneko and Kuroka would be placed in a cemetery that was in the human world. At the funeral that was held in the underworld, Issei was left alone after everyone left and he began to cry inconsolably, but the other girls comforted him to calm him down, which they managed to achieve. End of flashback. At that point the chestnut tree would leave the bouquets of flowers on their respective graves. Issei. Now I don't know what to do. 6 months have passed and the girls have started to distance themselves from me, even Yasaka and Lefei, but the good thing is that little Kunu is still there to be with me through thick and thin. Greg. You know, buddy, during those 6 months you changed a lot since you stopped being a pervert and you even distanced yourself from those friends you had, but you know, I'm glad you're not a pervert like before. Issei. Haha, thanks Drake. Well, I'll walk a little to clear my mind. Drake. It's okay, if you need me I'll be sleeping. Issei. Okay, see you later Drake. So our chestnut tree would leave the cemetery. Minutes later. Our chestnut was walking through the streets of Kuo City while he saw happy people, but then he would see 2 of his friends and companions, and they were Kiba and Gasper, and then he would approach his friends. Issei. Hi guys, how are you? Kiba. Oh Issei, how are you? Issei. Well, I'm fine, and you guys? Gasper. Well, we're fine, and you? Issei. Well, I'm fine, thanks for asking. So the 3 of them started walking while talking about trivial things until Issei had to go do other things. Issei. Well guys, I'm leaving now to walk around a bit longer. Kiba. Well, take care of yourself Issei. Gasper. Yes, we see each other. So is Kiba. It seems he doesn't suspect anything yet. Gasper. Yes, but I feel sad for him. I can't believe the president and the others would do that to him. Kiba. You're right, but remember, we shouldn't say anything. If we do, Issei could suffer from that illness that Office-sama told us about. Flashback 2 months ago. Kiba and Gasper together with Azazel and the little Kunu had met Office, so they explained to Office what the girls are doing to Issei, something that would make the dragon goddess angry. Office. Who else knows about that? Azazel. Well, only the Citri heiress and her entourage, except for that traitor Saji. Office. I understand, I will ask you to tell her and her clan, and also you, so that Issei does not find out about this. Kunu. But why Office-sama? Office. If he finds out about this, he could suffer the dragon fall. The fall of the dragon. Office. Dragonfall is a disease or curse of dragons. This curse is activated when the dragon is cheated on by its partner, and the dragon's power consumes it little by little until the dragon ends up dying. Gasper. In the case of Issei having several partners. Kiba. That means that. Office. The curse will advance faster than normal. Azazel. Then we have to prevent Issei from finding out about this. Office. Good, and don't forget to tell the Citri heiress and her clan. End of the flashback. Kiba. That's why we have to be careful, we can't let Issei find out about the girls. Gasper. You're right. So both would retire. Meanwhile, with Issei, he would be walking quietly thinking about why the girls started to distance themselves from him. But his thoughts would be interrupted by why Issei had collided with a girl. Issei. Oh sorry, I didn't realize. But in that Issei would see that the girl was someone he knew. This girl is no one more and no less than Murayama, one of the girls from the Kendo club at Kuo Academy. Murayama. Issei, what are you doing here? Issei. Oh well, I was walking a bit, but I ran into you. Murayama. Oh, I see. At that moment, Murayama would remember something and quickly grab Issei by the hand and start pulling him. Issei. Hey Murayama-chan, where are you taking me? Murayama would only blush upon hearing the brunette call her and then say. Murayama. I need to tell you something, and I hope you believe what I tell you. Issei. Where are you taking me now? Murayama. I'll take you to the house I share with Caddis, so walk quickly. At that Issei would start walking next to Murayama. 30 minutes later. Issei and Murayama had reached their destination. Murayama quickly brought Issei into the house and then took him to the room where Caddis was waiting for them. Caddis. How good that you found it. Issei. Hey, can you tell me what's going on? Murayama. Okay Issei, take a seat first. At that Issei would sit down and then Murayama and Caddis would do the same. Murayama. Look, I'll tell you something that happened to me a week ago. Flashback a week ago. Nara Murayama. I was with Caddis on our way home when some assailants intercepted us. They were armed and injured Caddis a little. Seeing that bothered me, so I was quickly going to hit them, but suddenly a glow appeared in my hands. Then when I saw my hands I was surprised because I had two swords, one black and one light blue. Seeing that, the assailants would run away. Caddis and I were very surprised. Then I tried to concentrate and the two swords disappeared. Normal narration. Murayama. And if you don't believe me, look. Murayama would concentrate on that and then two swords would appear, which were actually sacred gear. Author's note. This is Murayama's sacred gear. For those who don't know these swords, I'll tell you the names. The Elucidator sword, black sword, and the Dark Repulsor sword, light blue sword. End of note. Issei was surprised since he knew that those swords are a sacred gear, so he took a breath and then said. Issei. It's not actually completely crazy since I've seen this kind of thing before. At that Murayama would make his swords disappear. Murayama. What do you mean you know about this kind of thing? Caddis. Do you know what Murayama has? Issei. I think that now that I've gotten along better with you all over the last few months by stopping being a pervert, I think it's time to tell you something about myself. Murayama. Caddis. And what is it? Issei. First answer this question, do you believe in the supernatural? Murayama. And why? Caddis. If it's true, why do you ask that? Issei. Now they'll know. Meanwhile in the underworld at Leviathan Castle. We see the Mayu Seraph Leviathan doing her paperwork, but she is remembering a certain brown-haired girl who had saved her from being killed by the Trihexa, where she would blush when she thinks about it. Seraffal narrates. Once again I thought about Issei-chan, I can't stop thinking about him. Since I met him, his way of being seemed very tender to me, despite being a pervert, I began to feel something for him since I met him and little by little, I realized what it was, and that was love. I hadn't still am in love with Issei-chan. I don't dare tell him what I feel for him, since I don't know if he accepted my feelings, but seeing that the other girls are with him, I think he can accept my feelings towards him. Normal narration. At that the office doors open revealing Seraphall's parents, Lord Sitri and Lady Sitri. Lady Sitri. Daughter, are you okay? I see you are somewhat thoughtful. Seraphall. Hey, I'm fine, Mom. Lord Sitri. You must keep thinking about the Sekiryuutei, right? Seraphall. Yeah, something. Lady Sitri. Daughter, I think you should tell him how you feel about him. Lord Sitri. Besides what happened with Trihexa, he feels very sad about what happened with those 4 girls, and I think having someone else would help him a lot. Seraphall. You're right, when I see him I'll tell him what I feel for him, you were going to tell me something. Lady Sitri. Oh yes, you see, Serziches requires your presence at the Gremory castle. Seraphall. Okay, fine, then see you Mom and Dad and thanks for the advice. At that, Seraphim would leave in a magic circle happily without noticing the sad look of his parents, since they knew the reason for that call. Sona had entered and would see the look on her parents' faces. Sona. Father, Mother, what happens, why are they sad? Lord Sitri. You see, daughter, it turns out that someone accused your sister of treason. Lady Sitri. But not only her, they also accused the current Sekiryuutei of treason. She sounds surprised. But since I don't understand, there is any evidence that it's true. Lord Sitri. There is actually a video showing your sister and the Sekiryuutei killing many demons, but that video is fake. Lady Sitri. Follow us, we will show you. In that, Sona's parents would show her the video where Seraphall and Issei are shown killing many demons without any mercy. Sona would watch the video in detail, seeing that the video is indeed fake. Sona. You are right, the video is fake, but one question. Serziches-sama has not seen the video, or has he? Lady Sitri. Unfortunately he did see it, but he believed the video as did Michael-sama, but less so as Issei and Auden and even Surzich's queen and wife and also Venelana and Zudikas Gremory, they know that this video is fake. Lord Citri. That's why we ask you to try to find out who framed your sister and the Sekiryuutei. Sona. I will do everything I can since I can't allow them to incriminate my sister and Issei. Well, I'm leaving, see you. So Sona would leave in the magic circle of the Citri clan. Meanwhile at Gremory Castle. We see outside the Gremory Castle Surzich is together with Michael who, despite being an angel, can be in the underworld, and there were also a lot of demons talking about a certain topic. At a distance were Grafia together with Venelana and Zudikas Gremory, who looked with a sad look, since they would know what would happen. At that moment, Seraphim would appear and she would be climbing the stairs until she reached the highest point where the Gremory Castle was, but as she passed by, she would see that the demons were saying something. Demon? Is she really? Demon 1. What are you doing here? Demon 2. Acts like he doesn't know anything about what he did. Demon Woman. She is marked by evil and the blood of innocent demons. Seraphall's thoughts. Seraphall. Perhaps they must be talking about me. Why is it that they are talking about me like that, and why do they say that I am marked by evil? Out of your thoughts. At that Seraph would see that Surzich's was looking at her with a serious face. Seraphall. Hey Surzich's, what's going on here? Angry Surzich's. Why are you here? Seraphall. But they supposedly requested my presence here. Surzich's seriously? You don't belong here. Seraphall. Hey, I don't understand what's going on here, but could you tell me what's going on? In a magic circle, Grafia would appear, worried about the Mao Leviathan. Grafia. Surzich's Sama should listen to your opinion first and foremost. Surzich's. Silence. The first time I heard about this, I asked that you not be judged, Seraphim. Well, now I'm going to do it. Demon 3. We don't want her here. Demon 4. She must be judged. Demon 5. Deserves death. At that Surzich's would shout something that would leave Seraphall shocked. Surzich's. Exilio. At that moment, everyone started stomping their feet on the ground with great force, causing various drum sounds, others banged on some logs, and others started shouting. Seraphall. Don't wait, I didn't do anything. But it would be useless. Seraphall was stopped by 2 demons. You dishonor, disgrace, evil is seen in his gaze. The demons began to sing, while Seraphall began to run. You dishonor, lie, disgrace, shame. There were problems as soon as he returned. Dishonor, lie, disgrace, shame, a stranger will leave, evil is seen in her eyes, see you later. Several demons began to throw stones at Seraphall, while she was alone crying for how they treated her. You dishonor, go somewhere else, lie, disgrace, shame, go far away, traitor. There were problems as soon as she returned, see you later. At that several crows headed towards her starting to peck at her. She grew up with resentment, defenseless and without love. Let her go now, but never forget it, she will have no forgiveness. Seraphall would fall into a small ache and look back, seeing the looks of hatred and resentment towards her. Well, she is not from the clan, she has never been from our clan, she is not from the clan, she is not from here. Seraphall just started to cry more, while wondering what she did wrong to be treated like that. Someone else lied to us, but not this time. Because she is marked by evil and we know that she will never be part of the clan, she is not part of the clan. Dishonor, disgrace, dishonor, disgrace. Seraphall just started walking aimlessly, while she had a lost and confused look and would make a magic circle and then disappear. Dishonor. Author's note. I came up with this while watching Lion King 2 and I hope you like it. End of note. Meanwhile at Kuo Academy. Sona was investigating who could be the one who framed her sister and Issei, but then a magic circle would appear from which Seraphall would come out, who had some small scratches on it, and Sona approached her worriedly. Sona. Sister, what happened to you, why are you like this? At that, Seraphall would begin to cry while telling Sona what happened to him. Seraphall crying. I don't understand why they did that to me, did I do something wrong? Sona. In fact, someone accused you of killing many demons, but it wasn't just you, Issei was also accused of the same thing. At that, Seraphall would get scared because he would think they were going after Issei, but then he would calm down. Sona. Come on, Tsubaki and I are going to heal those wounds. Seraphall. Sniff sniff, thanks for still being my sister. Sona-chan. Sniff sniff, thank you very much. Sona. We will always be sisters no matter what happens. At that, Sona and Tsubaki would begin to heal Seraphall's wounds. Meanwhile with Issei. He had already told Murayama and Cadis everything about the supernatural world and also told them about all the adventures he has lived since he became a demon and what the sacred gears are and that Murayama has won. Murayama and Cadis, seeing the situation and seeing how Issei showed his demon wings, believed him since they knew it was the truth. Issei. By the way, Murayama-chan, I have something that can be useful when you summon your sacred gear. And that Issei would take out some sheaths from a magic circle for the 2 Murayama swords that can be placed on the back. Issei. Okay, now try to make your sacred gear disappear along with what I gave you. Murayama would concentrate on that, and then his sacred gear would disappear along with what Issei gave him. Hades. Wow, you are a very good Murayama. Murayama. You're right. Issei. By the way, Murayama, have this. At that Issei would take out a pamphlet that has a magic transportation circle with a dragon symbol and would give it to Murayama. Murayama. And what is this for? Issei. If you're in trouble, use that seal to summon me or to transport yourself to wherever I am. Murayama. I understand, I will use it when I need to. Issei. Murayama-chan, listen, I will always protect you no matter what it costs me. Hearing that, Murayama would blush. Murayama blushed. Well, thank you so much, Issei-kun. Issei. Nothing good, I have to go now, see you. So Issei would go home. At that, Hades would see that Murayama was thoughtful. Hades. Hey Kaori, are you okay? Why are you so thoughtful? Hearing that, Murayama would get nervous, but then sigh and then say. Murayama. You see, Hades, what happens is that for 2 months I have fallen in love with Issei-kun, since seeing his determination to change, even how he hid his perverted ex-friends who spied on us in the locker room, I started to fall in love with him, since when I see him, I feel like my heart beats very fast. Hades. I understand, but I think you should tell Issei how you feel about him. Murayama would start to doubt it at first, but then he would say. Murayama. I will do it, I will tell Issei-kun how I feel about him, thanks for motivating me, Hades. Hades. You're welcome, that's what we're friends for. Meanwhile with Issei. He would already be at the entrance of his mansion that they had given him, but he would be thinking about a certain Mayu dressed as a magical girl and a brunette expert in kendo, but Drake would notice and say. Drake. Wow, so you have feelings for the Mayu Leviathan and the Murayama girl, mate. Issei would get nervous before opening the door upon hearing what Drake said. Issei. BB, well yes, for a long time I have felt something for Seraffal-chan, and since I changed from being a pervert, I started to feel something for Murayama-chan, but I don't know if I can tell them what I feel for them. Drake. Well, I recommend you do it when the time is right. Issei. Thanks for the advice, Drake. Drake. You're welcome, mate. At that Issei would enter his house, but would notice that there was no one there. Issei. They're probably in the room. At that Issei would go up to the 2nd floor of the mansion, but at that he would start to hear some strange noises coming from the room where he sleeps with the girls. Issei confused. What are those noises? At that Drake would recognize what those noises were, he quickly became alarmed and began to shout at Issei not to go, but he simply ignored him. At that Issei would see that the door was half open and he peeked to see what was there, but upon seeing what was there his heart shattered and broke into 1,000 pieces. Since there were Rias and Akeno and Asia and Ravel and Gabriel and also Yusaka and Lefei having sexual relations with none other than Saji, a friend and rival of Issei. At that point all the girls started telling Saji how much they loved him and that they all wanted to leave Issei to be with him. They also said some hurtful words to Issei without realizing that he was listening to everything. At that point, Issei slowly stepped back and then, without making a sound, he started running while crying his eyes out and left the mansion. Meanwhile, the girls, along with Saji, would watch the video where Seraffal and Issei appeared killing several demons, which surprised them all. Meanwhile with Azazel, I would be talking to Kiba, Gasper and Kunu. Kiba. First it was the girls thing and now they're blaming Issei for betrayal. Gasper. Not only him but also Seraffal-sama. Kunu. And what can we do, Azazel-sama? Azazel. Well, for the moment, seeing the situation, now more than ever we have to prevent Issei from finding out about the girls. The 3 would only nod and then all retreat in a magic circle. Meanwhile, Issei. I would be walking around Kuo City while I was very sad. Author's note. Listen to this song for this moment, end of note. As Issei walked he asked himself the same question. Issei. Why did they do this to me? And that Drake would speak in Issei's mind. Drake. I don't know, buddy, I don't understand why they did that to you either. Issei. Even Yusaka and Lefei did this to me, what do you think little Kunu will say about this if she finds out? Drake. I guess his mother would feel sad and disappointed. Issei. You're right, but why did they do that to me? Didn't I show them my love on several occasions? Is it my fault that they did that? Drake. Calm down, buddy. At that Issei would see that he had arrived at a forest. Issei. Wow, I didn't think I'd end up in a forest. At that, Issei would have several memories that he lived with each girl who betrayed him and at that, Issei would begin to vomit a large amount of blood. Issei. Cough, what the hell is wrong with me? Drake. Mate, this is bad, Dragon is giving you the fall. Issei. Dragonfall. What's that supposed to be? Greg. You see, my friend, the dragon's fall is a disease or curse that affects the bearers of a longinus when their partner betrays them, the dragon's power consumes them until they die. And that Drake would explain to Issei about the ritual, and Issei would proceed to do it. After having made the magic circle, I would see that some orbs that represented the girls went to the center of the circle, but Issei would notice some orbs that by their colors represented the girls who died, but he would see 2 other orbs, but these were purple and the other was brown. Issei. Hey Drake, and those orbs? Drake. Those represent the feelings you have for the male Leviathan and that girl called Murayama. Issei. I understand. At that Issei would enter the circle and feel great pain as if he were in hell. 2 hours later. Issei would be kneeling on the ground with several wounds on his body. Drake. Haha, you did it buddy, now you are a 90% dragon. Issei. Thank you dragon. At that Issei would fall unconscious, which would alarm Drake. Drake. Mate. Meanwhile at Kuo Academy. Sona continued investigating who could have framed her sister, while Seraffal was just sad because she didn't think something like that would happen to her. At that, Seraffal would feel the demonic aura of a certain chestnut tree which was weakened, something that would worry Seraffal. Seraffal. Sona-chan, I'll go out for a bit to look for someone. Sona. Let me guess, Issei right? Seraffal. How do you know? Sona. Why do I also feel his demonic aura, but well be careful since there may already be demons looking for you. Seraffal. I'll keep that in mind. So Seraph would create a magic circle and disappear. Meanwhile with Murayama. She looked out the window and saw that it was going to rain, but the brunette was thinking about telling her feelings to a certain brunette who had stolen her heart. At that moment Murayama would see the pamphlet that had a magic circle with a dragon symbol. Hadis. Kaori, is something wrong? Murayama. I'm going out now, I can't wait to tell Issei-kun how I feel about him, so I'll use the magic circle he gave me. Hadis. Well then I wish you luck. Murayama, thank you Hadis. So Murayama would put the magic circle on the ground and it would quickly disappear into the magic circle. Hadis. How strange, I feel like something bad is going to happen. So Hadis would start reading a little. Meanwhile with Seraffal. She would arrive at the place where she felt Issei's demonic aura and would start looking for him. Seraffal. Issei-chan, where are you? I hope nothing happened to you. Meanwhile with Murayama. She would appear in the magic circle and see that she was in a forest. Murayama. Wow, that felt amazing to use the magic circle, but I wonder where Issei-kun is supposed to be if the magic circle teleports me to where he is, but I don't understand why Issei-kun would be in a forest, but well, it would be better to start looking for him. So Murayama would start looking for Issei. For some reason on the way Seraffal and Murayama would meet and both would get confused. Murayama. Hey, hello, I'm Kaori Murayama, it's a pleasure to meet you. Seraffal. Well, the pleasure is mine, Murayama-san, I am Seraffal Citri Leviathan. Murayama. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. At that, Seraffal would feel the power of Murayama and would see that she was looking for the same person she is looking for. Seraffal. Hey Murayama-san, do you happen to know Issei-chan? And another question, do you know about the supernatural? Murayama. Well, answering the first question, I know Issei-kun, and answering the second question, I know everything about the supernatural, since Issei-kun told me everything, since I have a sacred gear. Seraffal. Comprendo. At that, both would turn around and then put on a face of fear, since there was Issei lying on the ground and injured. At that, both girls would approach to see Issei. Seraffal. Issei-chan, wake up, what happened to you? Murayama. Issei-kun, who did this to you? Why are you so hurt? At that the boosted gear would appear. Drake. I can explain it to you, but I need you to pay attention. Thus Drake would tell what happened about the girl's betrayal and how Issei performed the dragon foal ritual and thus became 90% dragon. Seraffal and Murayama would be angry to know that because of the Gremory clan and Yusaka and Lefei and Gabriel Issei was going to die. Both were about to lift Issei's body to take it to Kuo Academy since Seraffal told Murayama that his sister and queen can cure Issei. But then several magic circles would appear from where a huge army of demons and angels would come out, and from other magic circles, Surziches would come out together with Graphia, who still had her sad expression, since now they might kill Seraffal. From other magic circles, Michael, Gabriel, Yusaka and Lefei would come out, and the Gremory clan would also come out. It should be said that Murayama was amazed to see everyone who appeared since she would not expect to know the other factions, but that is what Surziches would talk about. Surziches. I see that Issei is already dead, so Seraffal ordered you to let yourself be killed so you won't suffer anymore, and besides a scum like you doesn't deserve to live, you could even meet with Issei. Seraffal would only be scared since she didn't want to die, and besides Issei was slowly dying, something that made her even more scared. On the other hand, Murayama did not know why they wanted to kill Seraphal and Issei, although she knew that Issei was slowly dying. Rias. I can't believe I was in love with a damn traitor like Issei, I hope he dies wherever he is. Gremory and Yusaka and Lefei and Gabriel girls. We agree with you. At that point the girls who betrayed Issei started saying a lot of hurtful things which angered Murayama until Murayama, angry. Enough. At that, everyone would turn around and see Murayama. No one had noticed her since they were focused on Seraphal. Asia. Murayama-san, perhaps you know. Murayama. Yes, I know about the supernatural, I know about factions and sacred gears, and I also know that you, the Gremory clan, and the other three are damn traitors. Lefei. If I were you, I'd shut that mouth of yours. Michael. Tell us, young Murayama, why you are with the traitors. Murayama. First, explain why they are traitors and why they are accused. Surziches. There's a video showing those scumbags killing several demons. In that Surziches would show the video through a magic circle, Murayama would analyze the video and see that it is fake. Murayama. Are they idiots? This video is fake. It's obvious that someone made this video to incriminate Issei-kun and Seraphal. Surziches. That's stupid, we all saw the video, and it's 100% real. Rafia would only put on a look of disappointment when she saw that Surziches and the others couldn't see that the video was fake. Michael. Now just stand back and let us finish off the traitors. Rias. You heard me, stupid, now move away. Murayama. I will never allow Issei-kun and Seraphim to be killed. On Murayama's back, his two swords would appear and he would take them out and get into a combat pose. Author's note. Pretend it's Murayama, end of note. At that Seraphim would stand up and put on her magical girl outfit. Seraphal. I won't let them kill Issei-chan either, and I won't let them kill me for something I didn't do, so Murayama-san and I will fight. Murayama. Seraphal. And we will protect our beloved Issei-kun-chan. At that point, both of them were going to launch an attack, but at that point. Surziches. You made a big mistake, now die. From above, many surprise magical attacks would go towards Seraphal and Murayama, in that Murayama would quickly put away her swords to then make them disappear, and Seraphal would put away her magic scepter, and quickly both would tightly hug Issei's body. Murayama. Issei-kun, if I am going to die protecting you like you told me you would protect me, I want to tell you that I love you and that you stole my heart. I'm sorry for not telling you how I feel about you when I had the chance. Seraphal. Issei-chan, I also want to tell you that I love you and that since I met you I fell in love with you, and please forgive me for not telling you what I felt for you. By then the attacks were inches away from hitting and the two girls would just scream. Murayama. Seraphal. We love you so much, Issei-kun-chan. In that, the attacks would hit the three of them directly, leaving them badly injured. Author's note. Listen to this melody for this moment, end of note. After the smoke disappeared, only Issei, Seraphal, and Murayama could be seen on the ground, very injured and motionless. Mikeno. Are they still alive? Rias. After that I don't believe it. Gabriel. And now what do we do? Surziches. Get rid of those scum. In that everyone would create a magic circle that would make the bodies of Issei, Seraphal and Murayama disappear. After that, everyone would leave without noticing that someone had seen everything, and that was none other than Gasper, who was in tears. Gasper crying. Sniff sniff, I have to tell Azazel-sama about this. So Gasper would leave the forest in a magic circle. Meanwhile, somewhere else. Atlantic Ocean. Suddenly a magic circle would appear above, from which the bodies of Issei, Seraphal and Murayama would fall, and they would fall into the sea. The bodies of Issei, Seraphal and Murayama would be sinking little by little, seeing that Dreg would be worried. Dreg. Damn, my partner's wounds have not yet healed, and they became more serious, that is why he does not react, and on the other side are the Mao Leviathan, and that girl very injured and unconscious. If I do not do something sooner or later the three of them will end up drowning. But I can't do anything, damn something, please save my partner and these girls who love him with all their hearts. If it weren't for them and the other girls who died, my partner would be someone without emotions, please help. Suddenly a light would appear that would cut Drake down. But while he was blinded by the light, the spirits of Zenobia and Arena would appear, who would push Seraphal and Murayama to where Issei is, and the spirits of Kaneko and Kuroka would also appear. In that, the four girls would each give Issei a kiss on the lips, and then say. Zenobia, Arena, Kaneko, Kuroka. Issei-kun senpai Naya, wherever you go remember that we will continue to watch over you like guardian angels. At that the girls' spirits would disappear. Bragg hadn't heard anything since the light had him blinded, even in that without him seeing it in the great light a portal would appear that would end up absorbing Issei and Seraphal and Murayama. Chapter 3. Getting to know each other and a new adventure. Mundo de Zero no Tsukema. In the castle, Henrietta, Tabitha, and Sylphid are seen crying because Professor Colbert had told them everything that happened with Saito and Louise, which made the girls sad. Henrietta. Sniff sniff, then they killed Louise and Saito. Colbert. Unfortunately, I witnessed everything, but I found a first-year student who was hiding. I don't know why, but we'll talk to her. Tabitha. Even so, this can't stay like this, they have to pay for what they did. Sylphid. My mistress is right, they must receive their punishment. Colbert. And believe me, you will have it, but for now, you have to calm down, okay? The three girls would only calm down and then both leave, just like Professor Colbert. All the three girls before sleeping would only remember the good times they had with Saito and Louise and then say before falling asleep. Henrietta Tabitha's Sylphid. Rest in peace Saito and Louise. So the three girls fell asleep. Meanwhile in the world of high school DxD. Asper had arrived where Kiba, Kunu and Azazel were and they were in the student council. After Gasper arrived, he proceeded to tell everyone what happened with Issei, Seraffall, and Murayama. It should be said that Sona began to cry a lot while she was calmed down by Tsubaki. Kunu. Wait a minute, Gasper, Kunu said that another girl was also with Issei and Seraffall-sama. Asper. If it was Murayama-san, it seems she already knew about the supernatural. Kiba. And most likely Kata-san knows about it too, so we'll have to bring her here tomorrow. Azazel. Yes, but for now let's go rest. It was a very bad and sad day. And so everyone would leave, leaving Tsubaki and Sona alone, who continued to cry. Tsubaki. President, please calm down. Sona crying. No sniff sniff, I can't do it Tsubaki, I lost my sister and everything because of those damn sniff 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 and I don't even know if I can tell my parents. Tsubaki. I'm sure they already know, also remember that the only ones who know of the innocence of Seraffall-sama and Issei are Graphia-sama and Zudicus and Venelana-sama and also the others. Sona. I guess you're right, but nothing will be the same without my sister. She might be a bit irritating at times, but that's what defined her. I feel like I won't be able to be without her. Tsubaki. Remember that I am here with you and also the others and also the clan Lesaji since he is a traitor. Sona. Yes, you are right, but for now I will go rest, see you Tsubaki. Tsubaki, see you President. So Tsubaki would leave in a magic circle. And Sona would stay in an armchair sleeping while she watched the rain fall and also see the full moon. Sona. Sister, wherever you are, rest in peace. That's how Sona would fall asleep. Meanwhile in an unknown world. Author's note. Listen to this melody for this moment, end of note. In a forest it was still dawn, but the moonlight illuminated parts of the forest and in one of those parts of the forest we can see a black-haired boy with a blue sweater and a pink-haired girl with strange clothes. Both boys were unconscious, but they were holding hands and right near them there was a sword stuck in the ground. At that the boy began to wake up to see the starry sky in confusion and he would sit down. Saito, confused. Hey, where the heck am I and why do I feel like I'm not hurt anymore for a moment, is that right Louise? At that Saito would turn around and see that he was holding the hand of his beloved Louise. Saito. It's good that she's not hurt either, but what happened? The only thing I remember is that we were about to die. And that Saito would see his sword and companion Derflinger nailed to the ground and he would grab him. Saito. Hey Derflinger, are you okay? Derflinger. Yeah, I'm fine buddy, but what happened to you? You were supposed to be hurt. Saito. I don't even know what the hell happened and I don't even know where we are. At that moment Louise would start to wake up and she would see Saito, so with tears in her eyes, she would hug him tightly. Louise. Saito, are you really okay? You're not hurt anymore, neither am I, but I'm glad you're okay. Saito. I'm also glad you're okay, Louise. Louise. Hey, a question, where are we? Saito. I don't know, but this is very strange. I guess we'll have to investigate and the sun is about to rise. At that Louise would see that the sun was indeed about to rise. Derflinger. Well then, don't waste any time and start searching. At that Saito would put Derflinger on his back and Louise would take the founder's book and his magic wand and then both of them would start walking while they saw that the sun was rising. On the other side of the forest. Author's note. Listen to this other melody for this moment, end of note. The sun was already illuminating a large part of the forest and in the lit part of the forest there was a brown-haired boy and two girls, one with black hair and another just like the boy, also with brown hair. These were none other than Issei Hyodo, bearer of the Red Emperor Dragon, and Seraffall Citri, the Mao Leviathan, and Murayama Kaori, a girl with sacred gear and an expert in kendo. At that Issei would wake up since the sunlight hit his eyes and when he got up he would see that he was in another forest and also that he was no longer hurt. Issei. What the hell, why am I not hurt? Did they heal my wounds? Hey Drake, are you there, friend? Drake. Buddy, you're healed off, what a relief, for a moment I thought you would drown, but wait a minute, where are we, or rather why are we in a forest? Issei. Well, I don't know why we're here, but what do you mean by thinking he would drown? Dreg. Ah, yes, it's true you were unconscious, well let me tell you what happened. So Dreg telling Issei everything that happened after he became unconscious. Issei. First they betray me, and also someone accused me of betraying Sarah-chan, and also I almost died in the Atlantic Ocean, but tell me Dreg, where are Murayama-chan and Sarah-chan? Dragon. Look to the sides and you will see. And that Issei would see that on his left side was Serafall unconscious and on his right side was Murayama also unconscious. Issei. Wow, you weren't lying when you said they were with me when I was unconscious, but what I was wondering is where we are. Dreg. I don't know, buddy, but I guess you and your girlfriends will have to find out, and thanks to those two and the other girls who died, you're still the same as always. Issei. You're right Dreg, but well you rest, I'll take care of the rest. Dreg. Okay buddy, see you later. So Dreg would fall asleep. At that moment, Serafall and Murayama would get up to see that the brown-haired boy who stole their hearts was fine and unhurt. Both girls quickly hugged Issei, which he would reciprocate while he was blushing. Murayama. Issei-kun, you are alive, you are really alive, sniff sniff, you don't know how much I care about you. Serafall. I thought I had already lost you Issei-chan, but you are still here with us, and that sniff sniff makes me very happy. Issei. I will always be here to protect them no matter what happens. Both girls would only blush and then see what they were doing in another forest. Murayama. But where are we? I mean yes we were in a forest, but this is not the Kuo forest. Serafall. It's true, and I don't feel a trace of magical power from those who attacked us. Issei. Well, I guess we'll have to investigate, besides I'm sure we'll be fine so let's go. Issei would proceed to get up and then grab Serafall and Murayama by their hands, something that would make the girls a little nervous, and then the three of them would start walking. 2 minutes later. The three continued walking while they saw that the sun was about to illuminate the entire forest, but far away from them, Saito and Louise continued walking while they saw that the sun was about to illuminate the entire forest. Meanwhile with Issei and Serafall and Murayama. They kept walking until suddenly. Serafall. Wait a moment, I feel 2 magical powers. Murayama. Maybe it's them again. Serafall. They are not different magical powers, they are not like theirs, they are even stronger, and they come from over there on the right. Issei. Come on, let's go through the bushes. Serafall Murayama. It's okay. So the three would start walking slowly through the bushes without being seen. Meanwhile Saito and Louise would be walking seeing that the forest was not yet completely illuminated. Saito. I hope we're somewhere else because I'm afraid they might want to kill us again. Louise. You're right, but don't feel bad. You know I'm still with you and I always will be. Saito. You're right. From the bushes Issei, Serafall and Murayama would come out and get into a combat stance. Saito. And who are they? Louise. I don't remember ever seeing them in my life. Issei. Who are you? Were you sent by the factions? Serafall. If that's the case, we'll have to finish you off. Saito. Wait please, time out, that are the factions, and also where are you from? I don't think you are from the kingdom of Tristane. Louise. Yes, and they don't look like magicians, well, except for that girl with black pigtails and a magical girl outfit and a magic scepter. Murayama. Kingdom of Tristane, what the hell are you talking about? On that. Earthlinger. Hey buddy, those guys over there aren't from our world. Issei. That's a talking sword. That's what Dreg would talk about. Dreg. He is not a sacred gear, besides he is right, they are not from our world, and before you ask I already realized that we are in another world. Everyone surprised. Wow. Earthlinger. Wow, this boy makes me proud. Saito. Well, it seems that it is not so far-fetched. Louise. You have a point. Issei. Well, sorry for trying to attack them. Serafall. Yes, sorry about that. Louise. Don't worry. Murayama. But one question, who are you? Saito. I was going to ask you the same thing, but first let me introduce myself. My name is Saito Hiraga, and this is my wife, Louise de la Valliere. Louise. It's a pleasure to meet you. Issei. Well, the pleasure is ours, well my name is Issei Hyodo, but just call me Issei. Serafall. Well, I'm Serafall Citri Leviathan, it's a pleasure to meet you. Murayama. And I'm Kaori Murayama, it's a pleasure to meet you. Saito. Well, now that we've introduced ourselves, I think we should talk about ourselves now, right? Issei. That's what I was going to say. Then the 5 of them would sit on the grass. A few minutes later. They had all told about their respective worlds and they had all been impressed, in addition to the fact that Issei understood what happened to Saito, since almost the same thing happened to him. Issei. I understand you Saito, but like me you have to move on. Saito. I know, and the good thing is that I have my wife with me and that makes me happy. Serafall. Hey, now that we're talking about us, I think we should find a way out of this forest. Louise. Seraffal is right, we need to find out where or what kind of world we fell into. Murayama. Well then, let's get out of here right away. All? Yes. So they all walked through what was left of the forest until they saw an exit and would see a city while the sun began to illuminate the city little by little. Issei. Well, I guess now that we're in another world, I guess it's some kind of adventure, don't you think? Saito. You're right. Seraffal. I love adventures. Murayama. Louise. Us too. Issei. Well, I guess we'll have to go to that city they're talking about. Dodos. C. Hagamaslo. So everyone would start walking towards the city while everyone thought that now that they are in a new world, they will be able to be safe from those people who wanted to kill them. Chapter 4. Meeting a new friend who comes from another world. Our protagonists had arrived in the city and it was already approximately 2 in the afternoon and there were already people passing through the streets. Author's note. Listen to this soundtrack for now. End of note. Saito. Oh Buck, I'm bored, we haven't found anything good here. Louise. Don't despair, love. I'm sure we'll find something interesting. Murayama. Well, I hope so because I'm getting bored. Seraffal. And me too, there's nothing interesting. Issei. Haha, you just have to have a little more patience. Saito. Well, I don't know if I'll be patient because I'm starting to get desperate. Derflinger. Come on, buddy, don't be like that. Saito. SHHHHHH Derflinger, we are in another world so don't talk or you'll scare people. Derflinger. Sorry, mate. Issei. Well, let's keep looking to see if we find something. Seraffal Murayama. Louise. Saito. Teens Raisin. They would continue walking passing by a school, but Saito would stop and see the school out of the corner of his eye. Saito. That school looks a bit strange. What seemed strangest to Saito was a statue with a horse. At that Issei joined with Seraffal and Murayama and Louise would approach. Issei. Hey Saito, if you're thinking about that, don't be crazy, going back to the same old classes would be torture for me. Murayama. Same here. Saito. Well, that horse statue seems suspicious to me. Louise. Well then why don't we inspect the statue closely? Seraffal. That's a good idea. And that they would be approaching until they would see a purple girl together with a green dog. The following would happen. Author's note. Watch the video up to 122, end of note. At that Twilight and Spike would be stopped by Issei and Saito who stood in front of them. Issei. Hey, that's not how you should walk, I'll tell you. Saito. And also why did you come out of the statue besides the dog talking? Twilight. Well, this is me. Louise. Don't worry, you can tell us what you're talking about with confidence. In some ways, we're the same as you. We come from another world, so we're almost the same. Spike. Wow, I can't find any flaws in your logic. Seraffal. A talking dog is so adorable, don't you believe it, Murayama-san? Murayama. You're right. Issei. Well, tell us about you and your dog and we promise to tell you about us, okay? Twilight. Okay, but first let me introduce myself. My name is Twilight Sparkle and this is Spike. Spike. Hello, what's up? Issei. Well, my name is Issei Hyodo. Saito. My name is Saito Hiraga and the girl with pink hair is my wife Louise de la Valliere. Louise. And it's a pleasure to meet you. Seraffal. I am Seraffal Citri Leviathan, it's a pleasure to meet you Twilight. Murayama. And I'm Kaori Murayama, it's also a pleasure to meet you Twilight. Twilight. Well, now I'll tell you about mine and then you guys okay? All. Okay. Thus Twilight would proceed to tell about her situation and what her world is like, in addition to mentioning the species of ponies that had left the boys impressed. Saito. Well, if it's about magic, our worlds are similar in that. Issei. Well, now that you've told us about yourself, it's our turn. So the kids would tell about their world and in addition to everything that happened to them in their worlds, it should be noted that Twilight and Spike had been surprised by everything that happened to them and felt very sad. Twilight. Wow, it's very sad what happened to you. Sorry for everything that happened to you. Spike. If it's too sad we're really sorry. Issei. Don't worry, we're fine and we can keep going, right guys? Seraffal Murayama Louise Saito. Teens Raisin Issei. Twilight. Well, if you'll excuse me I have to go get my crown so. At that point Twilight would be losing her balance but would be walking with some difficulty since it is the first time she walks on two. The boys would just follow her since they had nothing else to do, besides that the girl would need their help to recover her crown. Twilight. Guys, what are you doing? Issei. Well, what else are we going to help you get your crown back since you're going to need a lot of help. Saito. Also, if you are an alicorn as you told us, we will have to help you adapt to the human world. Serafall Murayama Louise. Besides, we'll be your new friends. Twilight. Well, thank you very much, guys, with your help I'll be able to find my crown. Then the boys would enter the school, and Twilight would be watching everything in amazement, but then she would see some trophies. Twilight. What do you think about other artifacts that Sunset Shimmer stole from Equestria? Issei. Actually those are called trophies and they are not artifacts. Saito. I think that being a pony she doesn't know many things about this world. Serafall Murayama Louise. We agree. After that the boys would be walking through the halls of Canterlot High School. It must be said that the boys were confused when they heard that song out of nowhere. Issei. Where the hell did that song come from? Saito. I have no idea, but it's a little strange. Louise. Hey Seraph, I think you should take off your magical girl outfit so you don't attract attention. Serafall. Es cierto esperan un segundo. 2 minutes later. Serafall had returned and would be wearing his usual uniform. Serafall. Terran, how do I look? Issei. Hey, you still look just as beautiful, Seraph-chan. Blushing Serafall. He thanks Issei-chan. Murayama. Well, I think we should keep walking. So the boys would continue walking together with Twilight, although Serafall and Murayama were hugging both of Issei's arms, something that didn't bother him, in fact, he liked it. But then they would hear some voices and come closer to see what was happening. Author's note. Go back to the previous video where I told you to watch the video up to minute 122 and now put the same video at minute 432 end of note. On that. Twilight Louise Serafall. How dare you speak to her like that? At that, the fiery-haired girl would turn around and then say. Fiery-haired girl. That's what they said. As he approached and Twilight and Seraphim and Louise did the same. Twilight Louise Serafall. We said how dare you talk to her like that. The four of them would be looking into each other's eyes and then the fiery-haired girl would smile. Fire-haired girl. You must be new here, I talk to everyone however I want. So the fiery-haired girl would leave. And that Issei, Murayama and Saito would come closer. Issei. Hey Sarah-chan, did you feel that her aura was evil but at the same time good in her? Serafall. Yes, and that confuses me a little. At that the girl who was on the ground would get up. Girl. I can't believe what they did. Louise. Well, we couldn't remain indifferent. Serafall. Besides, that girl shouldn't treat you like that. Girl. Well, it's just that no one ever confronts Sunset Shimmer. Twilight surprised. Sunset Shimmer. At that point, Twilight and the boys would see Sunset go away. Girl. You've heard of her. Twilight. Sort of. Saito. Well, in our case just rumors. Girl. I don't think I've ever seen them around here. They transferred to Canterlot High from some other school. Murayama. And no, we are new in the city, but our friend here does come from another school. Twilight. Yes, it's true, my name is Twilight and these are my friends Issei Hyodo, Serafall Citri, Kaori Murayama, Saito Haraga and Louise de la Valliere. Louise. And what is your name? Shy girl. I'm Fluttershy. Saito Louise. It's a pleasure to meet you, Fluttershy. At that point, Fluttershy would see Spike and quickly go over to pet him and then give him a cookie. Fluttershy. They wouldn't give anything to know what they're really thinking. Twilight. In fact, he tells me that every day. Fluttershy confused. What do you mean? Issei. It doesn't mean anything, forget it. Serafall. Hey, that Sunset Shimmer said you picked up something that belonged to her. Twilight. It wasn't a crown by any chance, was it? Fluttershy. How did you know? Twilight. I just assumed. Louise. In my case I would call it female intuition. Just like in the original story, Fluttershy would explain how she found the crown and that she gave it to Principal Celestia. The kids would quickly go to Principal Celestia's office, but not before hiding Spike. The boys would then enter the office and then proceed to introduce themselves. And just like in the original Twilight story, she would say that if she wanted to get her crown back, she would have to become Princess of the Fall Formal. Issei. Well then we'll help you become the Princess of the Autumn Ball. Serafall. This is going to be super exciting. Murayama. You're right. Louise would see that Saito was a little sad and she would know why, but she quickly came up with an idea to cheer him up. Louise. Hey Saito. Saito. Hey, what's up, Louise? Louise would quickly grab Derflinger and give him to Issei, and Louise would quickly take Saito to a very remote place. Issei. Does anyone else feel like those two are going to do something wrong? Serafall Murayama. Si lo sentimos Issei-kun-chan. Twilight. What do you mean by that? Derflinger. Believe me girl, you don't want to know. Meanwhile, with Saito and Louise, they would enter a place where there was no one, but there was light that also counts, in addition to the fact that there was a mattress due to things in life in the script. Saito. Louise, why are we here? Louise would quickly push Saito, and he would fall on the mattress. Louise. Saito love, I know that you still feel sad about what happened in our world, but now I would like to do something that I should have done since we got married, and I hope it makes you happy. Louise would quickly begin to undress and then passionately begin to kiss Saito. He would blush but quickly kiss back, and then Louise would begin to undress Saito, and both would continue kissing. Author's note. I'm not crazy about writing lemon again, since the last time I did that I ended up fainting. End of note. Both were lying down while they covered themselves with a sheet that was there. Saito. You know I feel better now. I know that I have new friends and that I still have you, my beloved Louise. Louise. I'm glad to be by your side, my dear Saito. So both of them kiss again, showing the love they have for each other as husband and wife. Meanwhile with Issei and Serafall and Murayama. These were with Twilight accompanying her in the cafeteria. It must be said that some boys looked at Serafall and Murayama with looks of desire, but they were scared when Issei looked at them as if he wanted to kill them. Serafall and Murayama were blushing as they liked seeing their beloved brown-haired boy defending them. Here the same thing as in the original story would happen, but Issei, Serafall and Murayama would go to the roof since both girls wanted to talk to Issei. Already on the roof. Issei. And what do you want to talk about, girls? Serafall. Issei-chan, I don't know if Drake-sama has told you everything that happened when you were unconscious. Murayama. But in case I haven't told you, we want to tell you that. At that, both would sigh and then say. Serafall Murayama. We love you, Issei-kun-chan. Issei was surprised and blushed since he didn't expect the two girls to feel the same way he does about them. Issei. You know, I also loved you, Serafall-chan and Murayama-chan. I never dared to tell you what I felt because I thought you didn't feel the same way about me, but now that I know this, I would like to know if you would like to be my girlfriends. Both girls would become happy and quickly go to hug Issei tightly and then respond. Serafall Murayama. Yes, Issei-kun-chan, yes, we want to be your girlfriends, you don't know how happy you make us. Issei. You guys make me happy too, and I promise I'll protect you no matter what happens. Quickly Serafall would kiss Issei on the lips, and then it would be Murayama's turn. Issei would only reciprocate the kiss of his two beloveds. Derflinger. How cheesy is this? Greg. Don't talk, Derf, don't talk. Issei would quickly pull out a guitar from a magic circle. Issei. Well, would you like a song? Serafall. I didn't know you would sing. Murayama. Nah yo. Issei. Don't ask, just enjoy. At that Issei would start singing the next song. Both girls had been surprised to see Issei's singing ability. Issei. And what did you think? Serafall. She is beautiful. Murayama. We really loved your song, Issei-kun. Quickly both girls would hug their beloved brown-haired boy and then get off the roof since they had to look for Twilight and wait for Saito and Louise to return from wherever they had gone. Chapter 5. Small problems and a friendly duel. Issei vs Saito. Previously our protagonists met Twilight Sparkle and her faithful friend Spike, and where they all became good friends, and also our protagonists were able to see Sunset Shimmer, a girl who stole Twilight's crown, in addition to meeting a girl named Fluttershy. Then our protagonists agreed to help Twilight to be princess of the Canterlot High Autumn Dance. Then Saito and Louise had gone to another private place. While Serafall and Murayama told their feelings to Issei, and he told them that he also felt the same for them, and so Issei would now have two girlfriends who are Serafall and Murayama. What will happen now? Find out. Hit the intro. Meanwhile with Twilight, she would be walking after she has run into Sunset Shimmer. Just like in the original story, Twilight would be investigating without knowing why Sunset Shimmer's henchmen were recording her. As in the movie, Spike would have a place to spend the night, but then Issei, Serafall, Murayama, Saito, and Louise would arrive. Issei. Hello Twilight, sorry for being late, but we were busy. Twilight. Never mind, besides, Spike found a place where we can spend the night. Everyone. Really? Spike. Yeah, just follow me and ya. Author's note. Put the video at minute 038 to minute 202. End of note. The next morning Issei and Saito would wake up early since they wanted to check something. Issei. So you want to have a friendly duel against me, huh? Saito. Yes, and I hope you fight with everything you've got. Issei. Haha, I think if I do it I could kill you. Saito. I guess you're right about that. Then they would both take to the Canterlot High School football field. Issei. As you told me, the runes you have in your hand are your Gand of power, so I shouldn't be too confident. Saito. I hope not. So Issei would activate the boosted gear and Saito would take out Derflinger and both would launch into the attack. Saito would start to stab in order to hit Issei, but he would protect himself with the boosted gear and he would start to increase his speed at the same time that Saito did the same. Issei would quickly launch a dragon shoot that Saito would absorb with Derflinger and then launch his own attack at Issei. Issei was surprised as he didn't expect Saito to have an ability like that. Issei. Hey, you're not doing anything wrong, Saito, you are very skillful. Saito. Yes, but you are also strong. Issei. Well, it's time to increase the power. The following would happen. Issei had activated a second release dragon booster, surprising Saito by seeing that Issei's boosted gear had changed shape. Saito. Well, then it's time to get more serious. So Saito would begin to use the maximum power of his Gandalf power, going to attack Issei quickly, although he would be blocking each of Sato's attacks, but he did not give up and continued to increase his speed. Issei would quickly hit Saito, but he would dodge it and then hit Issei, which would make him crash to the ground, but Issei would quickly launch a dragon shoot before falling, and he would hit Saito, and the fight would end in a draw. After a few seconds, both would stand up and then shake hands. Issei. It was a good fight. Saito. Yes, it was. Issei. Well, let's go back inside. Afterwards, everything would happen as in the original story until the kids meet Rarity and the others. Author's note. Go back to the video and put it at minute 404 end of note. The girls would be arguing but on that. Verflinger. Can you shut up, stupid woman? At that, Rarity and Applejack and Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy would see Saito with an angry look. Saito. It wasn't me who said it. Applejack. So who according to you was the sword you carry on your back? Verflinger. Of course I said that, my partner is too stupid to go so far as to insult a woman. Saito. Oh yeah. The girls would be scared and amazed to see that Sato's sword could talk. Rarity. She can speak. Pinkie Pie. Oh, amazing, a talking sword. Saito. Derf, you already got us into a damn problem. Issei. You're an imbecile. Verflinger. Well, sorry, I just wanted to be calm, and that's it. In that, just like in the original story, Twilight would show the yearbook photos and say that Sunset Shimmer could have been the cause of the girls no longer being friends, thus realizing that it was true. Louise. Well, it was obvious if you think about it, you don't believe it. Serafall. See, definitely. Murayama. I agree. Then the original story would happen until everyone was in a place having a little lunch. Applejack. Hey, you guys owe us an explanation. Rarity. It's true, they have to tell us how that sword can talk. Verflinger. Now that I look at it carefully, I think I did make a stupid mistake. Greg. One word, Derf, you are an idiot. At that, the girls would be surprised again since Issei's hand had spoken. Rainbow Dash. What the hell is going on here? Saito. Well, before I tell you everything, maybe you don't know us, but we'll introduce ourselves. My name is Saito Hiraga, and the girl with pink hair is my wife, Louise de la Valliere. Issei. I am Issei Hyodo, and they are Serafall Citri Leviathan and Kaori Murayama, and they are my girlfriends. Applejack. Wife, you're still a little young for marriage, Saito. Louise. Well, listen, we'll tell you everything, you'll see. But she would be interrupted by Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie. You were going to say that you and Saito come from another world where magic exists, and that Saito is your guardian spirit, and that his duty is to protect you, and also that you lived many crazy adventures, in addition to the strange marks that Saito has on his hands release his magical power, and that after living many adventures you and Saito got married, and also other girls married him, but they began to distance themselves from Saito, but one normal day like any other Saito. Discovered that his other wives betrayed him with another boy, but except for you, Louise, and 3 other girls, but one of them is a blue dragon, and that you were attacked by several students and friends who betrayed you, and that is how you ended up in this world. The last thing Pinkie Pie had said in a sad way, surprising Saito and Louise that she would guess all that. Verflinger. Let me guess what you sensed. Pinkie Pie. You are. Rainbow Dash. Wow, that means everything Pinkie Pie said is true. Saito. Yes, that happened to us in our world. Applejack. Wow, that was really sad what happened to you guys. Fluttershy. Besides, Sato's other wives betrayed him. Rarity. We're really sorry. Saito. Don't worry, girls, besides that I have new friends, and besides that I have my beloved Louise with me. Applejack. And what about you, Issei and Serafall and Murayama? Rarity. Did the same thing happen to them as to Saito and Louise? Issei. Something like that. Murayama. But I'm sure Pinkie Pie will tell it true, since you surely sensed our thing. Pinkie Pie. Yes, but what happened to you is sadder, that's why I don't want to say it, so you tell it. Issei. Well, it will be a little long, but I hope you understand. So Issei would tell everything about his world, about the factions, the sacred gears, that he possessed a dragon sealed inside him, about all his adventures until the battle against the Trihexa, where Issei could not help but shed tears, since he remembered the death of Zenobia, Irina, Kaneko and Kuroka. But Serafall and Murayama would calm him down. Then Issei would tell what happened 6 months after the battle against the Trihexa, and Serafall would tell what happened to her. That she and Issei were blamed for betrayal. Then Issei would tell about how he discovered the girl's betrayal. Then he would tell about the fall of the dragon, and then Serafall and Murayama would tell what happened when they found Issei in the forest. Then Drake would tell that Serafall, Murayama and also Issei almost drowned in the Atlantic Ocean. But then they told about how they woke up in this world and how they, Saito and Louise, met. The girls were very sad about everything that happened to the boys, but even more so with Issei, Serafall, and Murayama, since Issei was about to die, and they also accused him and Serafall of treason, and Murayama was about to die for helping Issei. But don't worry about that, everything is fine, and we'll continue moving forward. Twilight. I'm glad you guys have great determination. Applejack. Well, leaving that aside, the dance is tomorrow, and we still don't know how to get Twilight's votes. Everyone knows her from the video that Sunset uploaded to the internet. Serafall. We should think of a plan that can help Twilight, but that's what everyone would start thinking about until. Rarity. I got it. That would make everyone think Rarity was weird. Louise. Wow, she's very active. Rarity. I meant I have an idea. On Rarity I would get some sweaters and some pony ears and some ponytails. Rarity. These were very popular several years ago, but even though they were all divided, they all united like the Canterlot cults. We just have to remind them of that spirit and what they think. Applejack. That's a good idea. Rainbow Dash. I support her. Murayama. Yes, that is a good idea. So everyone already has a plan to execute the plan. An hour later. Everyone was already in the school cafeteria, but Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise were at a table watching. Issei. I hope your plan works. Serafall. Don't worry Ice-chan, I'm sure the plan will work. Murayama. You must have confidence, Ice-kun. Issei. Thanks girls. Saito. Look, it's about to start. Louise. Too bad there's no popcorn. The following would happen. The boys were impressed since the plan was a success, but the boys noticed Sunset's presence and saw that she must be planning something. Afterwards the boys would be walking around the school while talking. Here it would happen as in the original story, they would accuse Twilight of destroying the dance decorations, but thanks to Flash Sentry, she managed to prove her innocence. Meanwhile everyone was in Rarity's boutique, but then Twilight would arrive, but she would quickly enter her dressing room. Rarity. Everything is fine, dear. Twilight. Yes, I'm fine. Inside the dressing room. Twilight. It's just not right, if I don't get the crown I won't be able to return in 30 moons, what am I going to do? Spike. We'll tell them the truth so they know what will happen if you don't get it tonight. Twilight. But what will happen when he finds out what I am? And that Twilight would see her reflection in the mirror, but in her pony form. Spike. They'll understand, and they also understood about the boys, so you shouldn't think they'll judge you for who you are. In that, what happened in the original story would happen, and Twilight would explain the situation to them. Then everyone would be in the gym watching everything destroyed. Issei. Don't make it up. Saito. This is total destruction. Rarity. I can't believe what they did. Pinkie Pie. If I had a party cannon maybe I could fix this super fast. Twilight. I know it looks bad, but if we work together we can fix this, and what do you say? Issei. Count me in. Serafall Murayama. Also with us. Saito. I'm into this teamwork thing. Louise. Me too, what do you say girls? So, working together, everyone would be able to arrange the decorations for the fall dance. Issei. Lola Gramos. Saito. Yes, that's right. Pinkie Pie. This looks so good. That's where Director Celestia comes in. Principal Celestia. Okay, students, the fall dance will be held tonight. Everyone hearing that would scream with excitement. Principal Celestia. So now go and get ready for tonight, and don't forget to cast your votes for the prom princess. At that point, several students left their votes for Twilight. Afterwards, everyone would leave, but no one would notice that Sunset was hiding in the sports closet. Sunset. You're lucky I'm not desperate. Next time, make sure you do what I ask you to do well. At that Sunset would smile maliciously. Sunset. I need the dance to happen today just the way she wants it. So Sunset would disappear into the shadows. Chapter 6. The Autumn Dance, the battle against Sunset Shimmer. Previously Issei and Saito had had a friendly duel that would end in a tie. After Derflinger got the boys into trouble, our protagonists ended up telling the girls everything about themselves, leaving them very impressed, and after having executed the plan so that Twilight could get the votes that seemed to have gone well, and after other events, and having fixed the gym that had been destroyed, the boys would leave without noticing that Sunset Shimmer was watching them. What will happen now? Find out. Hit the intro. Now our protagonists were together with Twilight and the girls in Rarity's boutique. Fluttershy. I still can't believe we made it. Issei. Well, everything is possible with teamwork. Rainbow Dash. And of course we did it because we are the best. Rarity. Enough with the talk, we all need to get ready, we have to look fabulous. The following would happen. Author's note. Watch the video from minute 246 to minute 401 end of note. The only thing missing was the boys. Twilight. Hey, where are the others? Rarity. Don't worry, they'll be down in a few minutes. At that Issei and Saito would come down, and they were wearing elegant suits. Issei. Well, we are ready. Derflinger. I must admit you guys look pretty good. Saito. Thanks for the compliment Derflinger, but Louise and Serafall and Murayama are missing. Then Louise would come down, wearing a beautiful blue dress and a diamond tiara. Louise. And how do I look? Saito. You look very beautiful, love. Louise. Hehe, thanks Saito. Applejack. Well, only Serafall and Murayama are missing. Issei. Well, I'm sure they look very pretty as always. Rainbow Dash. Well, I think you're right. Look behind you. At that Issei would turn around and then blush since he would see his well-dressed girlfriends. In Issei's eyes, they look like princesses. Serafall Murayama. And how do we see each other, Ice-kun-chan? Issei blushed. They look very beautiful, it's like they were princesses. Blushing Serafall Murayama. Thanks. Rarity. Well, we'd better get to the dance. Everyone. See. Minutes later. Everyone had arrived at Canterlot High School in a limousine, and just like in the original story, Twilight would agree to dance with Flash Sentry. Issei. And tell me my beautiful girlfriends would like to dance with me. Serafall Murayama. Of course we would like to dance with you, Ice-kun-chan. At that point the three of them would enter, followed by Saito and Louise. At that point, everyone inside would already be enjoying the party, including our protagonists, but in that. Twilight. Hey, has anyone seen Sunset Shimmer? Rainbow Dash. Maybe he didn't want to come, he should know that you swept the vote. Twilight. I guess you're right. Issei's thoughts. Issei. Hey Drake, is Sunset here? Drake. No mate, this is strange, why would it be that he is not here? Issei. I don't know, but let me know if you feel his energy. Drake. Understood, mate. Out of your thoughts. At that, Director Celestia would speak into the microphone. Principal Celestia. Okay, everyone has voted. It's time to find out who will be the new princess of Canterlot High's fall formal. And that they would show the Twilight crown, leaving our protagonists impressed. Saito. Whoa, that crown is amazing. Louise. You're right, and I feel a great power in her. At that, Director Celestia would open an envelope. Principal Celestia. And the new princess of Canterlot High's fall formal is Twilight Sparkle. At that, everyone would start clapping and shouting the name of their new football princess. But just like in the original story, Sunset Shimmer's henchmen would take Spike and Twilight, and the girls along with our protagonists would follow them until they reached the horse statue, but then Sunset would appear with a hammer in her hand. Sunset. Don't come any closer. And that everyone would see that Sunset wanted to destroy the portal to Equestria. Twilight. Don't hurt Spike. Sunset. Oh, of course I won't, I'm not a Twilight monster, now set him free. At that point, Sunset's henchmen would release Spike and he would quickly go to Twilight. Sunset. You should never have come here, just give me the crown and you can return to Equestria or keep it and you can never come back. At that Sunset would lift the hammer he had. Sunset. Tic-tac Twilight, we don't have much time, the portal will close soon, so tell me what you say. In that, just like in the original story, Twilight would say that she would not give up her crown, so everyone would start grabbing the crown, but due to a small incident, the crown would end up in Sunset. Sunset. Finally, more power than I could have imagined. But the moment she put on the crown, Sunset would be covered by a great burst of magic that would transform her into a kind of demon, and she would also transform her henchmen, and then she would turn to see all the students. Sunset. I had to overcome many obstacles just to get my hands on this crown, but let's put that aside, I am now your princess, and you will obey me. And just like in the original story, Sunset would control all the students in the school, but upon leaving, she would be hit by an explosion courtesy of Louise. Louise. We won't let you get away with it. Sunset. You damn wretches are going to die. At that Sunset would throw a big fireball towards Louise and Serafall and Murayama, but the ball would be cut by Saito. Issei. We'll take care of her, you take care of your henchmen. Serafall. Okay, but be careful, come on girls. So Serafall, Murayama and Louise would leave, while Issei and Saito stayed to face Sunset. Issei. Well, I'm going to need my balance breaker to finish her off. The following would happen. Saito. Okay Issei, let's finish her off, ready Durf. Durflinger. I'm always ready, mate. And that Issei and Saito would begin to cause great damage to Sunset, but she would throw a fireball at Twilight, and the girls who were alone would cover themselves, and when the smoke dissipated, it would be seen that the girls were covered by a magical barrier. And the following would happen. Author's note. Watch the video from minute 259 until the end of the note. At that point, everyone would approach the crater where Sunset Shimmer was. Twilight. You will not do any more harm. Everything you did here everyone already knows since tonight you showed everyone who you really are. Sunset crying. I'm sorry please forgive me, but I don't know anything about true friendship forgive me. At that, Twilight would extend her hand to Sunset to get up. Twilight. Maybe they can help you. Spike. Those are my girls and my friends yeah. Durflinger. Damn, that's how you win. Greg. Shut up already, Durf. Student. That dog and that sword spoke, and also that boy's hand wow how crazy. Spike. Seriously, the talking dog and the sword and hand are the weird things in this thing. Durflinger. Well, no way, that's life, Spike. Then everyone would start dancing until it was time for Twilight to leave. Twilight. Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise, I'm going to miss you so much, and I hope we can see you again. Issei. We'll miss you too, Twilight, but this might not be goodbye. Saito. If not, see you next time. Twilight. If you're right, well I have to go. See you later. So Twilight would start walking towards the portal. Spike. That crown looks great on you, Princess Twilight. Twilight. You know Spike, I think I can get used to this. Spike. And what about the wings? Twilight. I've been walking on two legs and grabbing and holding things with this, plus I've met some kids from another world who are almost exactly like mine, right? I'm glad I only have to deal with that in Equestria. So Twilight and Spike would cross the portal and in doing so the girls would lose their transformations. Issei. Well I guess we'll have to find a place to sleep. Rarity. Don't worry guys, between all of us we'll get you a house so the five of you can live together. At that Rarity would hand some keys to Issei and he would grab them. Issei. Thanks girls. After that the five would go to their new house where they would settle down to sleep. But at night Issei was sleeping, but then Serafall would come in. Issei. Esira-chan what are you doing here? Serafall. Well Ice-chan, I would like to know if you would like to do it with me. That had left Issei impressed, but even if he was nervous he would accept. Lemon skipped. Issei. That off was incredible. Murayama. Yes off you're right you know I would like to be the mother of your children you know. Issei. If I ever have children with you and Sarah-chan I will be the happiest boy in the world. Murayama. Thank you Ice-kun, I love you very much. Issei. I love you very much too, Murayama-chan. So Murayama would fall asleep next to the chestnut tree, but then Serafall would move and would be on the right side of the chestnut tree. He would just smile and then fall deeply asleep. Chapter 7. New Students, Battle of the Bands. Previously our protagonists along with Twilight and her friends had gone to the autumn dance where after some problems they would manage to defeat Sunset Shimmer and after that Twilight would go back to Equestria with Spike while our protagonists now have a house and that night Issei had a passionate moment with his girlfriend Serafall and Murayama after all that Issei fell deeply asleep. What will happen now find out. Hit the intro. A month had passed since the Canterlit High Fall dance, and since our protagonists had arrived in that world and in that time, Sunset learned the meaning of friendship thanks to the girls and our protagonists. Present. The boys were in the music room as the girls were talking about the same thing as the original story. Serafall. Well, it's understandable that not everyone believes you've changed. Murayama. But you don't have to be discouraged just because of that. In time, everyone will notice the change you made. Sunset. Haha thanks Serafall and Murayama, but I have a question and it is how is it that you can do what you do and why do the girls say that you are from another world? Issei. Well, it's a long story, but we hope you understand. So Issei, Serafall, and Murayama began to tell about their world until what happened with the fall of the dragon and the false accusation towards Issei and Serafall. Afterwards Saito and Louise told about their world and their adventures until when they were attacked by all the students of the magic school and the betrayal of Sato's other wives, except Henrietta and Tabitha and Sylphid. Everything that Issei, Serafall, Murayama, Saito, and Louise told had surprised Sunset since she hadn't expected that. Sad Sunset. I understand now, I'm sorry for what happened to you, you didn't deserve that. Saito. Nah, don't worry, Sunset. Besides, we're happy here now, this is a peaceful world. Louise. Yes, and we don't always have to face stronger threats. Rainbow Dash. By the way, guys, you're going to sign up for the music presentation. Issei. Well, I don't know, we're thinking about it. Serafall. Yes, normally in our world I love to sing, but I haven't done it for a long time. Murayama. Well, I used to sing sometimes. Rainbow Dash. Well then watch and see how we do it. And then the girls would start singing. When the sunset song ended, the kids would start clapping. Durflinger. Hey, how the hell did they transform? Greg. You're right Durf, this is strange, magic was supposed to have left this world when Twilight left. Issei. Well, that's another topic we'll try to find out later. That would be heard over the speakers. Voice over the speakers. Sunset Shimmer, please report to management. Durflinger. And they say I'm the one who gets us into trouble. Sunset. It's not that, Durflinger. What happened is that I offered to show the school to 3 new students. Louise. Oh, that was it, but good luck, Sunset. Sunset. Thank you. And so Sunset would leave, but Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise would feel an evil magical power. Applejack. Hey, is something wrong? Issei. It seems that those new students must be the ones emanating this evil magical power. Rarity. And they plan to confront them. Saito. For the time being, no, there is no need to make a problem. After that everything would be like in the original story until everyone was in the cafeteria. But then the boys would feel the magical power of the 3 new girls. Issei. Hey Sunset, what did you say the new students were called? Sunset. If I remember correctly their names are Adagio Sonata and Aria, why the question? Serafall. They will know that because they are about to enter 3, 2 and 1. At that the doors of the cafeteria would open revealing the Dazzlings who would begin to sing. While the Dazzlings were singing the boys would notice that there was a green smoke around them. Issei. What the buck? Murayama. That smoke must be coming from them. Durflinger. Oh my god, look. At that point everyone would see that everyone started arguing, and when the Dazzlings finished singing everyone was arguing. Serafall. We need to calm everyone down. Louise. But how? Saito. Countering fire with fire. And that Saito would take out a couple of guitars and a trumpet and 2 microphones. Saito. Louise, remember that I know how to sing, so I need your help. Louise. But I don't know how to sing love, in fact I didn't even try. Saito. You just follow me and Issei, you and Serafall and Murayama be support with the sound. Issei. Understood. Fluttershy. Good luck. Girls. Let's hope they make it. At that Saito would stand on one of the tables and speak into the microphone he had in his hand. Saito. Hey, can I have your attention here please? At that everyone would see Saito and Louise standing at a table. Saito. Well, listen, I know you know me, but let me introduce myself. My name is Saito Hiraga and this is Louise de la Valliere. But now I ask for your full attention for the next song, Music Maestro. At that Issei, Serafall and Murayama would begin to play the instruments that Saito gave them while he and Louise began to sing the next song. When the song ended everyone would start clapping and had calmed down, but the Dazzlings had gotten angry. Adagio. Listen to what you think you are doing. Saito. Well we just sing and that's it. Aria. But you and your girlfriend interrupted us. Saito. She's not my girlfriend, she's my wife. I know it's a little hard to believe, but it's the truth. Issei. You better get out of here. Sonata. And what makes them think we're leaving? But then the Dazzlings got scared because they felt Issei's murderous aura and he showed them his eyes which were emerald in color and looked like the eyes of a dragon. Issei. Are they going to leave, yes or no? The Dazzlings. Yes. So quickly the Dazzlings would go away. Issei. Well that will teach them not to mess with a dragon. Saito. Hell even I got scared. Durflinger. Hahaha, how stupid you are, mate. Saito. And you're an idiot. Author's note. I'll skip from this point to where the battle of the band starts and also here Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise created their own group, end of note. In that case, the introductions would be like in the original story until it was the Dazzlings' turn and they would start singing. Luckily, in all the arguments the girls had, Twilight, with the help of Issei, Serafall, Murayama, Saito, Louise and Sunset, managed to calm the girls down. And now it was Issei's group's turn again. Director Celestia. Well, it's Issei Hyodo's group's turn. Twilight. Good luck, friends. Issei. Thanks Twilight. Okay guys, let's do it. Serafall Murayama Saito Louise. Yes. The boys had agreed on the song they would play, and this song would be sung by Murayama. And so Issei's group would take to the stage, and the boys would start playing their instruments, while Murayama began to sing the next song. When the song ended, all the students had tears in their eyes, and everyone would start clapping. Issei. Thank you very much. And so Issei's group would retreat. Twilight. That was super awesome. Pinkie Pie. You sing very well Murayama-san. Sunset. It's true you're good at this. Murayama. Haha thanks girls. Issei. Well, it's almost your turn, girls, we wish you luck. Girls. Thank you very much. Serafall. Ice-chan who will have to sing when I touch them again. Issei. I don't know but we are close to the semifinals, so I think I will try it. Saito. The good thing is that I have the perfect song for you to sing. Louise. Look, it's the girls' turn now. At that Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise would see that Sunset was a little sad and they would approach her. Murayama. Hey Sunset, calm down, you don't have to be like that. You've been a great help to the girls. Serafall. Yes, so put on your best smile and let's see our friends. Sunset. Yes, they are right. Derflinger. I just hope Rainbow Dash doesn't do something stupid. Saito. What do you mean, Derf? Derflinger. That he might start bragging as usual. At that point the Rainbow Rocks would start to sing. Author's note. Listen to the song until 041 end of note. Saito would quickly take out Derflinger and cut the rope holding the curtain, making it cover the entire stage again. Everyone would look at that confused and then Issei would come out. Issei. That was the presentation of my friends the Rainbow Rocks, so goodbye. And so Issei would re-enter the curtain, looking seriously at Rainbow Dash. Serious Issei. Then we'll talk about this nonsense you almost did, Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash. Yes, it's okay. Director Celestia. Well, it's the turn of young Issei Hyodo's group. Issei. Okay guys, it's our turn. So Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise would go on stage and start playing their instruments while Issei started singing the next song. When the song ended everyone would start clapping, but Issei would be shedding some tears since when he sang the song he remembered the moments he lived together with Zenobia and Irina and Kaneko and Kuroka, but he would wipe away his tears. After that, just like in the original story, the Rainbow Rocks would make it to the finals, of course, with the help of Issei and his group. Meanwhile outside Canterlot High School, there would be a hooded guy watching the place. So that's where those evil energies come from, well in the name of God, I will make them repent of all their sins. And the hooded guy would start laughing like he was Kira from Death Note. And the hooded man would leave, but the wind would show that the subject has silver hair. Chapter 8. The Battle of the Band's Final, an enemy from the past. Previously, our protagonists had to calm down the Canterlot High students who had started arguing over the Dazzlings. After that, the Battle of the Bands took place. Now, the final will be a 3-band battle between the Dazzlings and the Rainbow Rocks and our protagonist's group. Find out what will happen next. Hit the intro. The next day the Rainbow Rocks were together with our protagonists on a stage where the final would take place. Issei. The good thing is that we were able to make you guys go to the finals instead of us, and next time Rainbow Dash think carefully about what you do. Rainbow Dash. Yes, sorry for what I did. Saito. Well, we'll be right back. You guys keep supervising what you're doing. So Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise would leave leaving the Rainbow Rocks, but in reality the boys were hidden behind the stage. Issei. You have to be careful because Trixie can do what the Dazzlings told her. Serafall. If it's true, we have to be careful. And indeed, just like in the original story, Trixie and her group had locked up the Rainbow Rocks, except for Spike, who quickly went to look for help but was caught by Issei. Spike. What the hell? Issei. Don't worry, we will help you obviously, but we have to look for a little more help. Spike. It's okay. Murayama. Hurry before they realize we're here. So the boys together with Spike would leave without making a noise. Meanwhile the Dazzlings would be seeing that Trixie had finished off the Rainbow Rocks. Adagio. Hahaha, I told you someone would give you a push. Sonata. He didn't push them, he just pulled a lever. Arya. Oh god, you better go to sleep, Sonata. Sonata. Also the group of the boy who scares like a dragon is not there. Arya. You have a point in that his name was not Issei Hyodo. Adagio. Yes, but that bastard and his girlfriends and friends didn't fall under our spell, but well, that doesn't matter anymore, they're no longer around, so we can have all the magic we wanted. This way the Dazzlings would leave without noticing that the hooded man was watching them. I see that red dragon is in this world, but well he is not my target, now my target is those girls. So the hooded subject would leave. By the evening Trixie and her group had already finished their presentation. Trixie. Super and those dazzlings. Adagio. Oh no, how are we going to do that? At that the dazzlings would see that the rainbow rocks were arguing and there was green smoke. Meanwhile the girls would be arguing until Sunset would stop them. Sunset. Wait a minute, this is what they want. They want you to fight to steal their magic. Applejack. But how can they do that if our magic is the magic of friendship? And so Sunset would say the same thing as in the original story, but after the girls have reconciled the door would be derived and the girls would see that they were Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise together with Spike. Twilight. Boys, girls, and Spike. At that Twilight would hug Spike. Spike. Sorry for the delay, but we had to find someone else who wasn't under the spell. Then a girl with headphones would appear. Twilight. But why isn't she under the spell? Spike. Why does he have hearing aids? And the girl with headphones would just smile. Issei. Well what are you waiting for, we have to go. Rainbow Dash. We're going to need Fluttershy's songs. Applejack. And if we're going to save the world, let's do it Rarity style. At that Rarity would show some outfits. Rarity. I thought you'd never say that. Meanwhile the Dazzlings were singing their song. Seeing that they had lost the Dazzlings, they were going to escape but would be stopped by an explosion from Louise. Louise. Where do you think you're going? And Issei, Serafall, Murayama, and Saito would arrive along with the rainbow rocks. Issei. You are a threat to this world therefore I must kill you. Hearing this, the Dazzlings became scared and began to cry inconsolably. Adagio crying. No please I ask you don't kill us, I beg you please. Arya crying. Please, we ask you, we don't want to die, we only did it because we had nothing to do. Crying Sonata. We were banished from our world and have been here stealing negative energy ever since. Adagio Arya Sonata. We ask you please don't kill us. Issei. Hey Drag, they're telling the truth. Drag. Let me see, if they tell the truth, I say let them live, they can change, I'm sure of that. Issei. Well I'm always someone who gives a second chance to those who deserve it, so Dazzlings I won't kill you. At that the Dazzlings had become happy and at that Murayama would extend his hand to them. Murayama. We can be friends if you want. At that the Dazzlings would accept Murayama's hand and stand up. Adagio Arya Sonata. Thank you very much. At that Trixie would approach angrily. Trixie. They may have beaten the Dazzlings, but they will never be able to defeat the magic of the great and powerful Tri. But in that. A bullet had been fired and instead of hitting Trixie, it had hit Twilight who had taken the lead. Everyone seeing that was scared, even the Dazzlings who went to help Twilight who had fallen to the ground. Adagio. Hey, are you okay? Arya. She's bleeding, she's losing blood. Sonata. Needs medical help fast. At that all of Twilight's friends and Spike joined Flash Sentry and Issei and Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise and approached Twilight and would see the wound. Issei. Wait a minute, a normal bullet wouldn't make a wound as deadly as that. Adagio. What do you mean by that? Issei. What I mean is, that wasn't a normal shot. Sunset crying. They can cure Twilight right? Issei. Fortunately, I have the bishop promotion. Spike. But who was the one who shot? At that, a lunatic's laughter would be heard throughout the place where the stage was. At that moment, everyone would look back and see a hooded man with a microphone. Ahahaha that girl must also be a sinner like the three mermaid girls, but whoever gets in my way to kill them well hahaha the same thing will happen to them as to her. Rainbow Dash crying. And who the hell do you think you are? Applejack crying. How dare you say that about our friend? Issei. Wait a moment your voice sounds familiar to me who you are and why do I feel like I know you? You don't remember me, that's sad, but I remember you, Issei Hyodo, the greatest sinner in our world. At that the hooded subject takes off his hood, revealing who it was, and Issei was surprised, since that person was none other than an enemy from his past, Freed Selzen, the crazy priest. Issei surprised. No, it can't be you Freed, but how was I supposed to have killed you? Freed. I don't even know how I'm alive or how I got here, but now I'm going to kill every sinner in this world, haha. Saito. Issei you know that idiot. Issei. Yes, he is Freed Selzen, a crazy priest who believes that everyone is a sinner. Murayama. Wait a minute, that guy is one of the ones who wanted to kill Asia. Issei. Yes, that's right. Serafall. I've heard of him, but seeing his madness in person scares me. Adagio. So that's why he wants to kill us because he thinks we're sinners. Arya. It can't be, but we never got to that point of killing someone. Sonata. The real sinner is him. Louise. The good thing is that he's the only one we can easily beat, right? Issei. Yes, listen to me, everyone, get out of here quickly, this is going to get crazy. At that point all the students would start to flee the place while Freed went down the stairs. Issei. This time I will defeat you Freed, now I am no longer a demon, now I am a dragon. Freed. Oh ha 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 ha, don't make me laugh, but well I want to introduce you to my two new friends. Suddenly, the ground would start to shake and suddenly two creatures would emerge from the ground, one that appeared to be a blue centaur with a large sword and the other was a giant skull. Everyone was surprised to see those creatures. Freed. Allow me to introduce you to the blue-eyed demon and the blinding skull. At that both creatures would let out a powerful roar. Issei. Sunset, you and the Dazzlings, Spike and Flash, take Twilight out of here quickly. Seraffal. Find the girl with the headphones and tell her to take you to a safe place. Sunset. Understood. So Sunset and the Dazzlings along with Spike and Flash would leave quickly carrying Twilight. Freed. Blue-eyed demon kill them. At that point the blue-eyed demon would go to attack Sunset and the Dazzlings and Spike and Flash, but at that point, Murayama would block the attack with his swords. Murayama. Run fast, I'll take care of it. So Sunset and the others would leave. Freed. Kill that blue-eyed demon girl, and your blinding skull kills the Sekiryuutei. Saito. Louise, you help Issei and Serafall and the girls face the blinding skull, me and Durf take care of Freed. Louise. Understood, but be careful. Issei. It's true, be careful, Freed is too dangerous. Saito. I'll keep that in mind. So Saito would start fighting Freed while the girls together with Issei and Serafall and Louise began to attack the blinding skull. Saito was clashing swords against Freed, making small air currents. Freed. You're a good idiot, but you won't be able to beat me easily. Saito. That may be true, but don't you know that a Gandalf is stronger than someone like you? At that point, Saito would begin to release his magical power from Gandalf, making his magical runes begin to shine, and he would cut Freed in the stomach and then cut him in the back, causing him to fall to the ground. At that Saito would grab Freed's weapon. Saito. Die by your own weapon. And that Saito shot Freed many times until the gun had run out of bullets and Freed had died. Saito. Wow, it wasn't that difficult. Erflinger. You're right, buddy, we beat that idiot. And that Issei and Serafall and Louise together with the girls would do a combined attack that would disintegrate the blinding skull. Louise. I thought something had happened to you. Saito. I'm not okay. Fluttershy. Hey, wait a second, and Murayama. Issei. Murayama-chan donde estas? And that everyone would see how Murayama was fighting against the blue-eyed demon and it was clear that the blue-eyed demon was going to win. And that Murayama remembers how she couldn't protect Issei when he was injured and then she remembers that thanks to the training of her beloved brown-haired girl, she is now strong. Murayama. I have to stay strong. And that Murayama would continue fighting against the blue-eyed demon, managing to hurt him until she would say. Murayama. This is my deadly technique, Starburst Stream. At that point, Murayama's swords would begin to shine a stronger light blue color and she would begin to stab the blue-eyed demon several times while he defended himself, but Murayama would attack him again. Murayama. Fast. At that the blue-eyed demon would hit Murayama in the stomach and would be about to kill Murayama, but he would quickly defend himself by stabbing the blue-eyed demon more and he would give him a strong punch in the face, but Murayama would not give up. Murayama. But faster. At that Murayama would begin to give quick stabs just like the blue-eyed demon and he would manage to grab Murayama's elucidator sword. This would worry Issei and the others, but at that Murayama would move together with his dark repulsor sword. Murayama. Oh my. At that moment, the blue-eyed demon and Murayama were going to stab each other with their swords, but Murayama managed to stab his dark repulsor sword into the stomach of the blue-eyed demon, causing him to turn into stardust. And that Murayama would see that he had succeeded. Murayama. Yes, if I managed to do it, I would beat that demon. At that moment, Murayama fell to the ground, tired and unconscious. 2 days later. At that Murayama would wake up seeing that she was in the bed that she shares with Issei and Serafall and would see that Issei was sleeping while holding her hand tightly. At that Issei would wake up and see that Murayama was fine. Issei. Wow, it's good that you're awake. I thought you were dead. Murayama. Ice-kun, what happened to Twilight? Issei. Don't worry, I cured her in time and she is safe and now she has already gone back to Equestria. Murayama. I see, hey, I can get up now. Issei. Yes, of course. At that Murayama would get up and the two would go down to the living room, seeing everyone who was worried about Murayama and even the Dazzlings were there since they consider Murayama as their first friend. Everyone. You're okay, Murayama-san. Murayama. If you don't worry, I'm fine. At that point, everyone would start congratulating Murayama for his great victory against the blue-eyed demon, and at that point, everyone would start eating a little and chatting, while Issei asked himself a question. Issei's thoughts. Issei. Why was Fried here in this world? And how did he come back to life? Out of your thoughts. Everyone would continue eating and celebrating. Chapter 9. The friendship games begin. Is there another Twilight? Previously our protagonists along with the Rainbow Rocks managed to defeat the Dazzlings and would give them a second chance to change, but apart from that appeared Fried Selzen, the crazy priest and enemy from Issei's past, accompanied by two strong beasts, but our protagonists managed to finish off Fried and the strong beasts, but Murayama was injured after having defeated the blue-eyed demon, but luckily she managed to recover. What will happen now? Find out. Hit the intro. Some time had passed after the Battle of the Bands, and despite everything the students of Canterlot High would accept the Dazzlings in school, something that would make them happy since they would have new friends. And currently Sunset was running quickly towards Canterlot High School, and when the emergency arrived, it was just a broken string on Rainbow Dash's guitar, then everyone would enter except Sunset, who would take out her book where she writes to Twilight. Louise. Hey Sunset, if you're going to write to Twilight, tell her we send her our regards. Sunset. Okay, I'll do it, Louise. At that Louise would leave while Sunset began to write in her book. Sunset. Dear Princess Twilight, how are things in Equestria? Is there some cool new spell? Well, if so, tell me. It's been a while since the end of the Battle of the Bands, and also the appearance of that crazy priest called Fried Selzen and those beasts, but the girls and I still transform when we play music, something that Rainbow Dash loves to brag about, but I still don't know what the reason is. I would like to know your opinion. By the way, Issei and Seraph and Murayama and Saito and Louise send you their regards. Sincerely, your friend Sunset Shimmer. But as in the original story, a strange girl would be watching the portal and reaching to touch it, but Sunset would notice this, but would not be able to stop the girl. The next day, like in the original story, the boys would be arguing about friendship games. Issei. Well, we won't participate this time. Rainbow Dash. Well, that's bad, and you guys are dazzling. Adagio. Well, I don't think so since we don't feel safe yet. Saito. Also, we have to be alert in case someone crazier than Fried shows up. Then, like in the original story, the kids would be in the gym watching Rainbow Dash give a few words to all the students of Canterlot High, and the following would happen. The boys were very impressed when they saw that Rainbow Dash had transformed without having to play her guitar. Serafall Murayama Louise. Okay, we definitely didn't expect that. That's what Director Celestia would talk about. Director Celestia. Well, now it's the turn of young Issei Hyodo and young Saito Hiraga. Serafall Murayama Louise. Luck. Issei Saito. We will have it. And that Issei and Saito would talk. Issei. Okay, listen, I know the chances of beating Crystal School are a little low, but if you all work together, you will manage to win. Saito. In addition to demonstrating why you are wondercults. At that point Issei and Saito would start singing the next song. When the song ended, everyone would start clapping, and after that, Principal Celestia would ask Sunset to hide the magic to avoid problems, which she would accept while she began to investigate what happened to Rainbow Dash. Meanwhile at Crystal School, a girl would be seen walking in the hallways, and this was none other than the Twilight of that world. And that Twilight would walk avoiding her companions to then arrive at the place where she does her research, meeting her Spike, who obviously being from that world could not speak. At that Twilight would show Spike the device she designed. Twilight 2. With this device I will be able to find the strange energy that emanates from Canterlot School. At that Spike would start to growl. Twilight 2. I know it bothers you that I went, but I committed to him to help him with his sister. It's possible that I can return that energy to normal. Then, as in the original story, Principal Cinch would ask Twilight to participate in the friendship games. At first, she refused, but later she would accept. Later that night Twilight was walking down the halls but would bump into someone. Twilight 2. Ouch, that hurt. Oh, it's just you, Twilight-san, it's nice to see you again. Twilight 2. That's the voice. At that Twilight would look up seeing a girl with pink hair with lemon green details and also had the same color of lemon green eyes, and in addition to her clothes being strange, in addition to possessing a kind of sword. Twilight 2. Hello Mitsuri-san, nice to see you. Mitsuri. It's also nice to see you again, Twilight. Twilight 2. I was going to look for you and the others, but where are the others? Mitsuri. If you are referring to Tanjiro-kun and his sister and his friends Inosuke and Zenitsu, then they are here. Then that Mitsuri would take Twilight outside the Crystal School and is seeing that Inosuke and Zenitsu were arguing. Twilight 2. Hi guys, how are you? Zenitsu. Oh hello Miss Twilight, well we're fine. Twilight 2. I'm glad, listen, and Tanjiro and Nezuko. Inosuke. Well, Kentaro and his sister are there. In that twilight and Mitsuri would see Tanjiro and Nezuko together looking at the stars. Author's note. Pretend it's not raining and you're not in a cave, end of note. At that twilight would approach. Twilight 2. Hola Tanjiro. Tanjiro. Oh hello Twilight, it's good to see you. Twilight 2. He I know, but tell me, how is Nezuko? Tanjiro. At the moment she is sleeping, but within reason. Twilight 2. That's great, by the way, I have something to tell you. So Twilight would tell them that she has to go to the friendship games. Twilight 2. For now I can only take you and Mitsuri, and you can take Nezuko in the box you always carry. Tanjiro. I understand, but what do we do with Inosuke and Zenitsu? Twilight 2. Well, for now I can only recommend that they follow us from a distance, but that no one sees them. Zenitsu. Sounds good, and what do you say Inosuke? Inosuke. Nah, that's fine by me. Mitsuri. Well, for now let's go rest. Then the boys would arrive at the twilight house of that world where everyone would be sleeping, but Tanjiro would be looking at the stars while he thought. Tanjiro's thoughts. Tanjiro. I hope in that energy that Twilight is investigated for a long time since she appeared, help Nezuko to become a human again, otherwise arriving in this world, and the sacrifice of the other pillars to kill Muzan, and for the 5 of us to survive, will have been in vain. Out of your thoughts. And that Mitsuri would appear, seeing Tanjiro blushing since before she felt something for Iguro the snake pillar, but when she met Tanjiro, her feelings began to get confused until she realized that what she felt for Iguro was admiration, and what she feels for Tanjiro is love. Mitsuri. Tanjiro-kun, are you okay? Tanjiro. Oh hello Mitsuri-chan, yes I'm fine. Mitsuri. Tell me, do you care about Nezuko so that she returns to being a human like before? Tanjiro. Yes, I have fought too much to find a way to make Nezuko become a human again, but all my sacrifices have been worthless since everyone else died in order to save us and defeat Muzan. That makes me feel sad since I couldn't use my solar breathing to help enough. Tanjiro wouldn't finish speaking since Mitsuri would hug him tightly, making him turn as red as a tomato. Mitsuri. Don't feel bad Tanjiro-kun, I also feel like you, being the pillar of love, I couldn't help my companions, that's why I ask you not to be sad since I don't like seeing you that way. Tanjiro. Thank you Mitsuri-chan. And both they continued hugging, and then they both separated while they were blushing, and then they both fell asleep. The next day those from Crystal School would get on the bus and then leave where Tanjiro was there, who had the box where he always carries Nezuko and Mitsuri. And while the bus was moving forward, Inosuke and Zenitsu followed the bus without anyone noticing. Meanwhile at Canterlot High the girls were chatting and they transformed again when they played their instruments. Adagio. It's amazing they still have that ability. Arya. That's true. Sonata. Hey guys, you haven't told us how you ended up here in this world. Adagio. Now that you mention it, it's true. Issei. Well, these are stories I don't think you'd like to hear. Saito. But if they insist so much. And that Issei, Seraffall, and Murayama would tell everything about their world until when they blamed Issei and Seraffall for betrayal, and how Seraffall and Murayama tried to protect Issei, but failed, in addition to Issei having to tell about the battle against the Trihexa, and then how he discovered the girl's betrayal, and how the Dragonfall was activated. Afterward Saito and Louise would tell everything about their world until when Saito discovered the betrayal of his other wives except Henrietta and Tabitha and Sylphid. Sad adage. Wow, you guys really did badly. Arya. Literally, despite you being a pillar of the factions and you Saito a legendary familiar, they didn't care about anything and ended up betraying the 5 of you. Sonata. But the good thing about this is that here they don't have to suffer like they suffered in their worlds. Seraffall. I guess you're right. At that point the girls would finish playing their instruments. Rainbow Dash. I hope the games have music competitions because Rainbow Dash will win. Sunset. Remember, we have to keep the magic hidden so as not to cause trouble. Murayama. That's true, and we should keep an eye out for anyone else like Fried who shows up. Meanwhile outside Canterlot High School. Crystal School would arrive and everyone would get off. Tanjiro. Wow, so that's Canterlot High School. Mitsuri. It's huge. Then, like in the original story, the device that Twilight made to track magic would lead her to the music room inside Canterlot High and, like in the original story, the device would end up stealing part of Rarity's magic. That's when Twilight would come in and everyone would see her. All except Issei and Seraffall and Murayama and Saito and Louise. Twilight. Obviously our protagonists would realize that the Twilight in front of them was another Twilight. Author's note. I'll skip to when the first Friendship Games event is about to start. End of note. The boys together with the dazzlings were watching the girls together with the other students of Canterlot High, but while the vice principal Cadence was saying the rules of the first event, Issei looked at Tanjiro and Mitsuri, but what caught his attention was the box that Tanjiro had on his back. Seraffal. Ice-chan, do you also feel the power of those boys? Issei. Yes, but not only theirs, there is someone inside that box. Murayama. I wonder what that boy has in that box, and that I feel other energies outside the school. Then the first event of the Friendship Games would begin. Just like in the original story, the first Friendship Games event would be won by the Crystal School, and during the first event, Tanjiro couldn't stop watching Saito because his sword seemed strange to him. Then, like in the original story, Twilight would meet Fluttershy and they would talk a little. Twilight 2. I'm on the other team and you lost, why are you so nice to me? Fluttershy. Looks like you needed it. That's what Fluttershy would transform into, leaving Twilight impressed. And then like in the original story, due to a small incident, Twilight Spike could now speak and then Twilight would run away while Spike followed her, but everything that happened was seen by Inosuke and Zenitsu, who were impressed. Inosuke. What the hell just happened? Zenitsu. No idea, but let's stay hidden for now. Later the boys were walking while Fluttershy explained to them what happened with Twilight. Murayama. So you suddenly stopped having your transformation. Fluttershy. See. Pinkie Pie. It even happened to me at the party. Rarity. And me when I was showing the dresses. Sunset. So he steals the magic. Applejack. I don't think she's capable of that. Adagio. I hate to interrupt, but she's not the Twilight you know, after all the Twilight you know would never do that. Seraffal. Maybe he's just curious about magic. Louise. Maybe, but what if she doesn't understand it, because possibly if she releases the magic she has accumulated, it could cause a disaster. Erflinger. Let's pray that doesn't happen. Saito. That's true, that would already be a big problem. Issei. Well, for now focus on winning the next event. Then, as in the original story, the second event of the Friendship Games would begin. But as in the original story, Twilight's device would get out of control. Issei. That thing wanted to take Drake away. Saito. And he wanted to take my Gandalf power and Louise's void power. Murayama. Fortunately, nothing else happened. Seraffal. If it's true, luckily we stopped those plants. Sonata. In fact, they forget a small detail. Arya. And what is that Sonata detail? Sonata. That the boy with a box on his back and the girl with pink and lime green hair have strange abilities. Adagio. It's true, I saw it too, apparently those two are not normal. Issei. Let's rest a little for now. Then everyone would leave, but they wouldn't notice that someone hooded was watching them. So Gandalf and the Valier are here just as you told me, and also other kids with strange abilities. Well, even so, it's time for my revenge against you two, Saito Hiraga and Louise de la Valiere. Thus the hooded woman would disappear into the darkness. Chapter 10. The Friendship Games Final, an enemy from the past. Previously, the Friendship Games had begun, but our protagonists, along with the Dazzlings, decided not to participate. After that, some minor problems arose, such as the Twilight of that world and her strange device randomly absorbing magic. After a brief conversation, everyone left without noticing that a strange hooded woman was watching them. What will happen now? Find out. Hit the new intro. New opening for this story. Good Morning World, the first opening of Dr. Stone, Latin-Spanish cover. Singer. David Delgado, Lateral Square. Later. Everyone was gathered at the entrance of Canterlot High School for the last event of the Friendship Games, and while they explained the rules of the last event, our protagonists were talking with their friends. Fluttershy. But I don't feel like participating in the games anymore. Rainbow Dash. But we have to do it. Issei. The problem is that Crystal School still believes that we cheated. Sunset. I also feel really bad about what I said to Twilight. Fluttershy. I think she was just curious, she's not a bad person, she's very kind. That would make Sunset feel worse. Applejack. Let's have the last event proving we're not cheaters, and then you apologize to her. At that, Sunset would smile. Saito. Well, we wish you luck. Louise. We'll stay here for the time being. Issei Serafall Murayama. So good luck, friends. Adagio Aria Sonata. And give your best. The girls. Thank you. Meanwhile, on the Crystal School side, Principal Cinch would be saying the same thing as the original story, while there were Tanjiro and Mitsuri trying to cheer up Twilight since she was feeling sad. Tanjiro. Cheer up, Twilight, this will end and you can rest easy. Mitsuri. Yes, so don't worry. At that, Director Cinch would approach the three of them. Director Cinch. Although we could fight fire with fire. All three would look at her confused. Director Cinch. I've seen what your Twilight artifact does, containing the strongest energy of all is fine, but haven't you thought about releasing it? Twilight 2. Free her. But I can't even understand her. Director Cinch. Besides, I've seen your potential, young Kamado, and your swordsmanship is how you use that energy. Tanjiro. Maybe, but I don't use my abilities for my own benefit. Director Cinch. But you'd still like to discover your true potential, and you'd also like to unleash the Twilight magic. If your rivals have already used it, I don't see the problem with using it, unless you're not interested in joining Everton. At that Twilight would be nervous while Tanjiro was also nervous, while Mitsuri looked at it a little scared, since she was afraid that Cinch would convince Tanjiro to use his true potential. Director Cinch. You hold a very powerful energy in that small artifact that no study program knows about, while the young Kamado possesses incredible abilities that would leave anyone impressed. Unfortunately, Twilight would release the magic that was inside the device, and thus Twilight would transform into Midnight Sparkle. Midnight Sparkle. Ha, you were right before. I didn't really understand magic, but now I turn it on. So Twilight would launch an attack on the horse statue, and then a portal to Equestria would open, surprising the boys. Issei. Must have the power to create portals to Equestria. Murayama. We have to stop her. At that point Mitsuri and Zenitsu would approach, who had the box where Nezuko was inside as always and Inosuke. Saito. Hey, who the hell are you? Zenitsu. My name is Zenitsu Agatsuma, and he is Inosuke Hachibira, and she is Mitsuri-san, but tell us, have you seen Tanjiro? Louise. If you're referring to her red-haired friend with a strange scar on his forehead and some kind of katana, no, we haven't seen him. At that moment, a scream would be heard that would make Twilight stop and put the boys on alert. I want Blood-Eye. In that dust Tanjiro would be seen, but when they saw him Mitsuri and Zenitsu and Inosuke, they were scared when they saw that Tanjiro was in his demon form. Issei. What the buck? Seraffal. Is he a demon? Midnight Sparkle. I see, that's your way of losing control. Sunset. First Twilight and now this is bad. Tanjiro demon. I want Blood-Eye, I want to kill them all. At that point, Tanjiro would launch himself against Issei, and he would start fighting against Tanjiro, while Midnight Sparkle continued destroying everything. Sunset. Twilight, you can't do this. Midnight Sparkle. Why, there's a world waiting to be discovered and filled with magic. At that Midnight Sparkle would launch another attack. Sunset. But you're destroying this world just to get it. Midnight. And there is more magic to discover, and I want to understand all of it. At that Midnight Sparkle would launch an attack on the ground causing it to open. Meanwhile Issei continued to face Tanjiro. Issei. Hey Tanjiro, right. You have to stop, whatever is happening to you, I can help you with whatever you need. Demon Tanjiro. I don't care, I only want one thing, and that is to devour Yaoi. At that Issei would push Tanjiro back, and Tanjiro would launch an attack to finish Issei off, but Mitsuri would grab Tanjiro from behind. Mitsuri. Tanjiro-kun, please stop, you are not like that, please come back to being that boy I fell in love with. That'd surprise Tanjiro, but he kept trying to free himself. Mitsuri. Be that boy I fell in love with again, that boy who always cares about others instead of himself, that boy who always does everything possible to make his sister return to normal, that boy I love with all my heart. At that Tanjiro would stop and return to normal and then fall into Mitsuri's arms. Tanjiro. Do you really love me? Mitsuri. If I love you Tanjiro-kun and you love me too. Tanjiro. Hehe, yes of course I love you Mitsuri-chan. At that moment they both gave each other a tender and passionate kiss. But Issei smiled. Issei. How good that it's over. Greg. It's not over yet, mate, I remind you. Back in the fight against Midnight Sparkle. Sunset would have Twilight's device and she would realize something and then say something. Sunset. This is not the way, I know you feel powerful for now, that you can have everything you want. I went through that, I made the same mistake as you, I put on a crown, and just like you I was overwhelmed by the magic it contained, I believed it could give me everything I wanted. Adagio. She's not the only one who made a mistake, the three of us made a mistake too. Arya. Our obsession with collecting negative magic from people who were fighting or arguing with each other almost led to our deaths. Sonata. But our friends gave us a second chance to change, and that's why you have to stop and not make the same mistake we made. Midnight Sparkle. Oh, you're wrong, unlike you, I can have everything I want. Sunset. It's not true, even with all that magic and power you'd still be alone. Real magic comes from honesty, loyalty, laughter, generosity, and kindness. And that the girl's magic would gather inside the artifact. Sunset. I understand you very well, Twilight, and I want to show you the most important magic of all. At that, Sunset would throw the artifact to the ground with great force, causing the magic to transfer to her, turning her into Daydream Shimmer. Daydream Shimmer. The magic of friendship. Everyone was very impressed by this. Issei. Wow, what incredible power. Serafall Murayama. You're right, Ice-kun-chan. Saito. Hahaha, with that power Sunset Shimmer can win. Louise. Exactly. And that Daydream Shimmer would disappear Midnight Sparkle's portals, making her angry, and then both would collide their attacks, and it was seen that Midnight Sparkle was going to win if it weren't for Spike and Nezuko, who surprisingly came out of the box since it was cloudy and there was no sun. So Daydream Shimmer's attack would win, and inside the center of power was a scared Twilight, while Sunset looked at her and approached her. Daydream Shimmer. Take my hand, Twilight, let me show you there's another way, like someone did it for me before. At that, Twilight would accept the hand. And then the energy beam would disappear, showing Sunset and Twilight as normal. Twilight 2. I'm very sorry, it wasn't my intention for all this to happen. Sunset. I know, but speaking from my experience and that of the Dazzlings, they'll forgive you. And that Twilight would be hugged by Spike and Nezuko, and then Tanjiro and Mitsuri, along with Zenitsu and Inosuke, also joining the hug. Issei. Well, it seems that everything ended well. Director Cinch would approach her angrily. Author's note. Watch the video from 032 to 207, end of note. But suddenly a tremor would be heard. Issei. And now what? Inosuke. Wow, looks like I'm really hungry. Zenitsu. Inosuke, that wasn't your stomach. Tanjiro. So what will it be? Out of nowhere something would destroy the roof of Canterlot High School, showing that it was a stone creature that Saito and Louise knew perfectly well. Saito, surprised. Wow. Louise. How is it possible that one of these is here in this world? Murayama. It means that this thing comes from your world. At that you would hear a laugh, and then a voice would say. It's been a long time, Gandalf and Valier, but it's time to finish you off. Saito, surprised. Is that voice from Louise? It can't be impossible. At that, the hooded woman would fall to the ground and remove her hood, revealing that she was none other than Falcad. Falcad. It's a pleasure to see you again, Gandalf and Valier. Serafall. And who is she? Louise. She is Falcad, a woman who caused us problems in the past, but I don't understand how you're still alive. Falcad. It doesn't matter how I'm alive, but it's time to collect what you two did to me, but I have a person who wants to see his friend Issei Hyodo. Do you want to get out of there, friend? From those shadows someone would appear that Issei did not expect to see, and this was none other than Diodora Asterith. Diodora. Haha, how long, Hyodo? Issei, is time for my revenge for what you did to me. Murayama. Ice-kun, who is that guy? Serafall. So he is Diodora Asterith. Issei. Diodora, yes, you came because of what you did in the past, kidnapping Asia. I don't give a damn if you came because of that, I don't care about her anymore. Diodora. I'm still going to kill you, damn it. And that Diodora would launch himself to fight against Issei. Well, the girls helped everyone to get out of there, while Serafall and Murayama and Saito and Louise joined with the help of Tanjiro and Mitsuri, and Zenitsu and Inosuke fought against the Falcad stone golem. Falcad. You won't be able to beat my stone golem, you're not strong at all. Inosuke. We'll see about that, silly, breath of the beast, third fang tear and devour. Thus Inosuke would manage to break the legs of the stone golem. Tanjiro. Okay, my turn, total concentration, water breathing, sixth posture, winding whirlpool. So Tanjiro would make a wound in the chest of the stone golem. Then Serafall and Murayama would do a combined attack that would destroy the stone golem's arms, and then Louise would use an explosion that would distract the stone golem, and then Saito would destroy the stone golem with several cuts. Saito. Well, we did it. Mitsuri. But the strange woman left. At that point everyone would see that Falcad was no longer there. Louise. Shit got away. At that point, Diodora would attack Nezuko, causing her to fall into Zenitsu's arms. Zenitsu scared. And then Nezuko-chan. At that, Nezuko would look at Zenitsu and then caress Zenitsu's cheek, but he was angry about what they did to his beloved Nezuko, so he would get up and scream in anger. Zenitsu. Bastard. At that, Issei and Diodora would stop their fight. At that, Zenitsu, without being asleep, would get into a pose that the boys knew perfectly. Zenitsu. I will no longer be someone weak, I will be someone strong to protect those I love and to protect my dear Nezuko-chan. Hearing that, Nezuko would blush since she also felt the same as Zenitsu felt for her. At that, several rays would appear around Zenitsu while his eyes turned white. Diodora. What the hell, what kind of power is that? Issei. It must be the power of Greg. Zenitsu Agatsuma. That's what Zenitsu would say. Zenitsu. Lightning breathing, first pose, lightning flash. At that, the air would begin to tremble, frightening Diodora. Zenitsu. 6 times. At that Diodora would launch an attack at Zenitsu, but he would disappear at maximum speed. Diodora. But where the hell is it? And that Issei would move, and then Zenitsu would move many times at maximum speed, and then go upwards managing to cut Diodora's head, leaving him scared. Diodora. What the buck? Afterwards Issei would destroy Diodora with a powerful dragon shoot. And that Zenitsu would fall at the front of all. Zenitsu? Uff, I did it, I thought I wouldn't. Issei. That was super amazing, Zenitsu. Saito? You literally destroyed that guy by cutting off his head. At that Nezuko would hug Zenitsu tightly, making him nervous, but he would reciprocate the hug. After that, like in the original story, Twilight from that world would stay at Canterlot High, but not only her, but also Tanjiro and Mitsuri, along with Zenitsu and Inosuke. Issei. Hey, by the way, Tanjiro, I know a way to make your sister human again. Tanjiro. Really? Issei. If only you would come with me. At that point, everyone would enter Canterlot High School and be in the hallways where the sunlight didn't reach. Issei. Well, you just have to take out Nezuko. At that Nezuko would come out of the box. And in that Issei would take out 2 evil pieces that had his dragon energy. Issei. Well, these chess pieces have my dragon energy, and with them I will be able to take away from you, Tanjiro, the demon power that you have, and you, Nezuko, will become human. Seraffal. It means that the evil pieces will bring out that demonic blood inside them both. Issei. Exactly, and are you ready? So the two would nod and then put the evil pieces in the hearts of Tanjiro and Nezuko, and then say. Issei. Great power of the Red Emperor Dragon that lives within me, make the evil pieces remove all traces of demonic energy within Tanjiro and Nezuko, so that she becomes human again, and Tanjiro returns to his former self. Reg. That wasn't necessary, mate, but whatever. And that the evil pieces would absorb all demonic energy inside Tanjiro and Nezuko, and the latter would become human again, and she would remove the bamboo from her mouth. Nezuko. Pages, I can talk, it's me again, I'm human. At that both Komodo brothers would hug each other tightly while crying, while the others watched that happily. Murayama. And what will you do with the demonic energy, Ice-kun? Issei. Just look. And that Issei would destroy the evil pieces and in the process destroy the demonic energy. Rainbow Dash. That's 20% more OE. Applejack. Well, now everything is calm. Saito Louise. Genius. The next day. Everyone was at the horse statue that was destroyed from above, everyone was having a picnic while Nezuko kept eating. Nezuko. She missed human food too much. Tanjiro. Haha, then enjoy it because you deserve to eat whatever you want, right, Sunset Shimmer? Sunset. Exactly. Saito. You know, if Awaken appears again, this time we will defeat her. Louise. True. Issei. Then count me in on that. Serafall Murayama. Also with us. The girls Dazzlings Mitsuri, Inosuke, Zenitsu, Tanjiro and Nezuko. Also with us. In that mirror the Twilight of Equestria would appear. Twilight. I'm sorry I didn't get here sooner, girls. I didn't get your messages until now because I got stuck on this journey between dimensions. Also, I thought Issei, Serafall, Murayama, Saito and Louise could take care of this, but seriously, the journey between dimensions is the strangest thing that has ever happened to me. And that Twilight would look at herself from that world and both would be seeing each other while the others watch them. Twilight 2. Haha, hello. Twilight nervous. You're the second weirdest. Issei. And tell us, friend, what else did you come to do? Twilight. Well, after what happened I decided to take a little vacation, so I'll stay here for a while if you don't mind. Serafall. Of course not, after all you are our friend. Twilight. By the way, who are the other kids here? And did I miss something important? Saito Louise. Long story, we'll tell you later. Meanwhile, Awaken was on a mountain, but she was not alone. She was accompanied by no one else but Kaguya and Cao Cao. Kaguya. So the idiot Diodora lost against the Red Emperor Dragon. Awaken. That's right. Cao Cao. It was to be expected that he would lose, but the more of us there are, neither that bastard nor stupid Gandalf will win. On that. When the time comes, leave that damn Gandalf with me, because I'll be the one to end his life. And leave the damn Sekiryuutei to me. Kaguya. Well, whatever you want. Awaken. If it weren't for you, this plan wouldn't have come about. In that shadows 2 people would come out, one was Sato's worst enemy, and this was none other than Wards. And the other was a very strong enemy of Issei, who was the cause of Issei awakening the Juggernaut drive, this was none other than Shalba Beelzebub. Wards. And well, where our allies are. Cao Cao. Hidden from the sun, you know why. Kaguya. And then when will we execute the last of the plan? Shalba. If our allies fail in their mission, it will be time to end this world, as Ward said. Awaken. Destroy this world, how did we almost destroy the kingdom of Tristane? Wards. Exactly Falcot, but for now, rest. So the three would leave, leaving Shalba and Wards alone. Wards? And tell me Shalba why you want to kill that boy called Issei. Shalba? Why did that bastard humiliate me and make me afraid of him that time, and then he killed me, but now I'm going to kill that bastard. Wards? I see. Shalba? And why do you want to destroy that boy called Saito? Wards? Almost similar to yours, that damn Gandalf humiliated me, ruined my plans of conquest, and a damn relative defeated me, that's why I want to destroy him. Shalba? With the plan we made, we'll finish off those two bastards. At that they would both scream. Shalba Wards. And they won't be able to stop us. They then disappear into the shadows. Chapter 11. The Everfree Camp Mission. Hunt monsters or demons. Previously our protagonists along with Canterlot High School were in the finals of the Friendship Games, where our protagonists had to face an enemy from Sato's past, which was Falcot later, thanks to Issei Nezuko the sister of Tanjiro, managed to become human again, like Tanjiro no longer had Musen's blood inside him. Also the Twilight of Equestria returned to have a good vacation. What will happen now? Find out. Hit the new intro. A month had passed after the Friendship Games. From time to time the Twilight of Equestria went to verify that everything was okay in her world, and to her surprise everything was calm. In addition Twilight gave advice to her other self, and she managed to overcome what happened to her in the Friendship Games, thus discovering that posse magic. Our protagonists also dedicated themselves to training a little more, since if they encounter Falcot again, they will most likely have to face her again. But thanks to Tanjiro and Mitsuri, who joined Zenitsu and Inosuke with the Dazzlings, they offered to train the girls, since they all discovered that the girls possessed other very different powers. Only in Sunset, a special power has not yet appeared. But even so, our protagonists are unaware of the threat that is to come. Current events. On the roofs of the houses in Canterlot City was none other than Kunu, who was jumping from roof to prevent people from seeing her until she stopped to rest. Kunu? Where are you, Dad? I know you are not dead. If not, why were Office and Great Red able to feel your power? And that Kunu had a communicator where Azazel's voice would be heard. Azazel. Well Kunu, did you find any clue about Issei or Seraffal? But this would be interrupted since another person spoke, and this was none other than Caddis. Caddis? Or did you find any indication of Murayama changing them? At that Kunu would grab the communicator. Kunu? No, not yet, and it's strange, I don't feel the energy of my father or Seraffal-sama or Murayama-san. Azazel would speak about that again. Azazel. Keep looking, it took us a long time to find them, if it weren't for Office and Great Red, we wouldn't have been able to find them. Kunu. I will do it, I will not give up until I find my dad, change and go. So Kunu would continue on her way. Meanwhile on a bus. There were our protagonists along with their friends and the Twilight of Equestria, who decided to accompany her friends, so as not to be alone. Issei. Well it's amazing that we're going camping. Seraffal. Yes, you're right, Ice-chan had never gone camping. Murayama. You're going to like Seraffal, rest assured. Caddis and I always went camping whenever we could. Applejack. Hey, I have a question. Is it normal for Inosuke to get like this? And that everyone would see that Inosuke was hitting the window while Zenitsu and Nezuko tried to get him out of there. Tanjiro. Well, sometimes he is a little impulsive and he always lived in the mountains. Mitsuri. It's normal for some people to get like that. Twilight. It's incredible everything I learned about this world. Little by little, I got used to being here. Twilight too. You also helped me forget what happened that day and I'm very grateful for that. And that Adagio I would see Sunset which was pensive. Adagio. Hey Sunset, is everything okay? Sunset. Yeah I'm fine, I was just thinking about why I haven't awakened any magical powers. Adagio. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll have a magic power. That's when Director Celestia would speak and the following would happen. So the bus would arrive at the Everfree camp where everyone would get off looking at the landscape. Issei. Wow this is amazing. Saito. You're right, it's a quiet place. Louise. Great, this will be a good place to talk about my other spells. Tanjiro. I think this is a good place to train. Pinkie Pie. Look at Nezuko, she's having fun. And that everyone would see how Nezuko ran happily along with Zenitsu. Everyone smiled, especially Tanjiro, seeing that his sister was very happy after so long. Then a voice would be heard speaking through a microphone, and it was none other than Glorious, who was accompanied by Timber. After Glorious would say the same of the original story, but it is noted to our protagonists and their friends, giving a sigh of relief, since apparently the salvation of the Everfree camp was there. Gloriosa whispering. Hey Timber, do you see the young people over there? Timber whispering. Yes why? Gloriosa whispering. Because they will help us with the problem that has been happening these weeks, that is why I will give the girls the crystals from my necklace, since they should know how to use magic better. Timber whispering. I think it's a good idea, but for now, let it be tomorrow. Later. Everyone was gathered around the campfire eating marshmallows and telling scary stories, although for Issei, Saito, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke the stories everyone was telling were boring. Seraffal. Eating marshmallows is very cool. Murayama. That's true. Louise. It's true they are very delicious. Mitsuri. I don't think I've ever tried them. Izuko. Neither do I, but they are delicious. And that Timber would tell the story of Gia Everfree. It must be said that the ones who were most scared were Serafall and Murayama, who hugged Issei very tightly. Gloriosa. Well, it's time to sleep, but first, Principal Celestia, we can talk to your students tomorrow. And Glorious would be pointing at our protagonists and the girls. Director Celestia. Okay. After that everyone would go to sleep. But at night Issei would wake up seeing the beautiful stars and the beautiful lake. Issei. How beautiful the night looks, don't you believe it, Dreg? Dreg. Yes it is, mate, but can I ask you something? Issei. Yes, tell me. Dreg. Haven't you noticed your girls acting a bit strange, like they don't eat much and are always kind of dizzy? Issei. Yes, I have noticed it, and this started 2 weeks ago after we finished training. Dreg. Yes, and I think you'll be a father very soon. That would make Issei very nervous. Issei. If that happens I will be the happiest boy in the world, also starting a life here in this world is something I wish for. At that Issei would start singing the next song. After that Issei would sit on the grass, but he would feel that they hugged him from behind, and he would see that they were Serafall and Murayama. Issei. Hello girls. Serafall. It's good that we decided to go out since we wanted to be with you, Ice-chan. Murayama. Yes, and the night is very beautiful. Issei. Yes, they are right. In that moment, the three of them would be looking at the moon while holding hands. Meanwhile, somewhere in the Everfree Forest, Wards and Shalba would be together with Falcot, Kakabiel, Kakao, and 3 hooded men. Wards. Oh come on, you should leave now, there's no sun so get out of there. On that. It seems that they finally returned, but well, it's time to go out. In that darkness would come out no one more and no less than Rui, one of the 12 demonic moons together with his family of demons. Shalba. Well Rui, remember what we told you, if you find the Sekiryuutei or the stupid Gandalf, bring them before us. Wards. And if they want, they can continue devouring humans if they wish. Rui. Okay. Kakabiel. Hey wait a minute, aren't there supposed to be 5 in your family where your mother is? Falcot. Now that you mention it, Kakabiel, it's true, there's a demon missing here. Spider Demon. Haha mom must be out there in the woods looking for other puppets like the one she already has. Pakao. Whatever it is, if you want to protect your family, then put an end to threats like the Sekiryuutei and Gandalf. Spider Demon Father. I will not allow those bastards to touch my family, if they do I will devour them until there is nothing left of them. Sister Spider Demon. If no one will harm our family. Wards. Okay, for now, rest if you want, we'll go back to our place where we stayed. So Wards and Shalba joined Kakabiel and Falcot and Kakao together with the 3 hooded men. Meanwhile in another part of the Everfree Forest would be the mother spider demon who was injured and was crying while her wounds healed. Author's note. I will name the mother spider demon Nakam, end of note. Nakam crying. I can't stand it anymore, I'd like to die again so I don't have to endure this hell anymore. In that, Nakam would remember the moment when Tanjiro saw her with that look of understanding, that look that captivated her before he died. Nakam. Sniff at least I would like to see that smile again, that look of understanding that captivated me before my death. I would like to see you again and be by your side, knowing that I could be happy, and even if I have to do this, I have no other option if not I will end up dying in a very cruel way. This way Nakam's wounds would regenerate and she would return to where the others are. The next morning. Saito would wake up seeing the beautiful landscape. Earthlinger. Hey buddy, have you noticed the strange symptoms Miss Louise has been showing? Saito. Yes, I have noticed it and if they are the symptoms of pregnancy, I will be happy knowing that Louise is expecting my child. At that Tanjiro would see Saito and would approach. Tanjiro. Hello Saito, good morning. Saito. Oh hello Tanjiro, hey I wanted to ask you something about your katana and your skills. Tanjiro. Well tell me what is the first thing you want to know about my katana. Saito. The first thing is if since you became a demon hunter as you told us you had that katana. Tanjiro. Well, actually, before my katana was another one, but this one belonged to a pillar. At that Tanjiro would take out his katana showing that it was the katana that Rengoku used. Saito. Wow it looks cooler up close and a question who this katana belonged to. Tanjiro. Belonged to the flame pillar Kaijor Ringoku. So Tanjiro would tell everything about Ringoku until the part where he died when facing the third upper moon. Saito. Wow, it's incredible that he fought until the end, even though he was injured. Tanjiro. Yes, that's why he used his katana and why he helped me awaken the solar breath. Saito. Hey, you told me about the dance of the fire god. Do you think I can use it with Derflinger? Tanjiro. Well, only those who have earrings like mine can, but in your case, I think so. Saito. Great, tell me about it later. Afterwards the girls would be rebuilding the dock using their new powers, while Serafall and Murayama and Louise and also Mitsuri and the Dazzlings helped too. Issei. Wow, they do it well. Inosuke. Nah, I could do better. Out of nowhere, Serafall and Murayama would start vomiting, just like Louise, and then they would faint, which alarmed everyone, but especially Issei and Saito, who quickly went to help their loved ones. Minutes later. In the cabin Serafall and Murayama and Louise were in bed resting. Serafall. Hey, what happened? Murayama. I don't know. Louise. Out of nowhere I felt strange. Issei. Wow, good thing you woke up. Saito, you had me worried Louise. Louise. Sorry Saito love. Issei. But what happened to them? Serafall. We don't know, we've been feeling this way for weeks. Murayama. That's true. Greg. Hey buddy, I need you to put the boosted gear on the girls' bellies. Issei confused. Uuki. So Issei would put the boosted gear on the bellies of Serafall and Murayama, and then the emerald gem would start to shine, and after a few seconds the shine would touch Louise until the boosted gear would stop shining. Issei. And what do they have Dreg? Saito. Is it something bad or what? Dreg. Dude, it's official what I told you yesterday, your girls are pregnant. Upon hearing that, Issei began to cry with happiness and then hugged Serafall and Murayama, who were also crying. Issei crying. So that means I'm going to be a father Sarah-chan and Murayama-chan, you make me the happiest boy in the world. Serafall Murayama, crying. And you make us the happiest women in the whole world. Greg. And Saito, you're also going to be a father. Miss Louise is also pregnant. At that Saito would start crying and hug Louise who was also crying. Saito, crying. I am the happiest boy in the whole world yes. Louise crying. And I am the happiest woman in the whole world. But they wouldn't notice that everything was being heard by the girls and the others. After that moving scene our protagonists along with the girls and the Dazzlings and the Twilight of Equestria and Tanjiro and Mitsuri together with Zenitsu and Nezuko and Inosuke would be called by Glorious to talk to them. Author's note. The spikes were sleeping XD end of note. Glorious. I'm sure you're wondering why I call them truth. Issei. Well yes. Gloriosa. Well before that. At that glorious moment she gives the girls the crystals from her necklace. Gloriosa. These crystals have magic and you seven along with the other girls are the ones who understand magic, so use them well. The girls. Thank you. Tanjiro. And where do we get into this? Timber. That's an excellent question. Gloriosa. Well, you see, I need all of your help since weeks ago strange things started happening, many campers who came here always disappeared. Timber. And we found some campers dead. Everyone surprised. Dead. Twilight too. Does that mean there are monsters or something like that? Gloriosa. We don't know for sure, but a camper who survived told us that they were apparently strange people, although some looked like spiders and had white skin. Sunset. White skin. The Dazzlings. And they look like spiders. Timber. That's right and we always find traces of these cobwebs. At that Timber would show a spiderweb. Issei. Drake, do you feel something? Greg. Well, I feel a strange energy but nothing more. And that Tanjiro and Nezuko using their sense of smell would detect a familiar smell. Tanjiro. Impossible, that smell is from a demon. Nezuko. That's true. Zenitsu surprised. Damn. Mitsuri. But it's impossible all the demons should have died when Muzan was destroyed. Serafall. Means in this forest. Murayama. Are there demons that devour humans? Inosuke. Indeed. Gloriosa. Then you can help us with this problem. Issei. Of course we will help in whatever is necessary. Serafall. I guess Murayama, Louise, and I will have to stay here. Issei. I don't want to put them in danger, so please Sarah-chan and Murayama-chan stay here. Serafall Murayama. It's okay Ice-kun-chan. Louise. Be careful, Saito, love. Saito. I'll have it. Tanjiro. We'll go too, and Mitsuri-chan can stay and take care of the camp. Mitsuri. If you don't worry, darling. And Nezuko will also stay with me. Tanjiro. Okay, we're going to need more help. We'll need Rainbow Dash and Applejack. The others can stay here protecting the others. All the girls except Rainbow Dash and Applejack. It's okay. At that moment, a knock at the door was heard. Gloriosa. Go ahead. And that would come a girl that Rainbow Dash would meet. Excuse me, I'm looking for. But the girl seeing Rainbow Dash would be happy just like Rainbow Dash. Girl. Rainbow Dash, is that really you? Rainbow Dash. Yes, it's me and I can't believe it, you're here, Shadow Star. At that point the two girls would run and hug each other, but then both would give each other a tender kiss, impressing everyone. Inosuke. What the heck? Issei Saito Tanjiro Zenitsu. I think nobody literally expected that. Afterwards the two girls would separate from the kiss and then hug each other tightly. Shadow Star. I missed you so much, my love. Rainbow Dash. Me too. Applejack. Wait a minute, Dash, you said you didn't have a partner, so who is she? At that Rainbow Dash would grab Shadow Star's hand and the two girls were blushing. Rainbow Dash blushing. Haha, well you see she is Shadow Star, someone I met a long time ago, and besides that she is my girlfriend, haha. Rarity. And how come you never told us about her? Rainbow Dash. Well, I didn't know how they would react if I told them, and also that Shadow Star had to leave the city for a while. Shadow Star. But I always stayed in touch with her because I didn't want to stop seeing her. Fluttershy Pinkie Pie. That's very romantic. Serafall Murayama Louise Mitsuri Nezuko. Literally that's romantic. Gloriosa. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt this beautiful scene, but I'll tell you where those things you call demons are. Issei. Where can we find them? At that Timber would show a map of the forest. Timber. This mountain here we call Mount Everfree is where the campers who died were found by us. Zenitsu. It means that's where they are, they took the mountain as their territory. Saito. But well, at what time will we go for them? Tanjiro. We will go at night. The demons usually come out at night since the sunlight affects them too much. Shadow Star. A question, Dashi, what is going on here? I missed something that has to do with your adventures that you told me about. Rainbow Dash. Yes, I'll tell you a little bit if you want, I'll come back later, guys. So Rainbow Dash and Shadow Star would go talk while the boys began to create a strategy. Meanwhile, somewhere in the Everfree forest, Wards and Shalba met up with one of the three hooded men from the previous night. Wards. Our allies are still hidden by the sun. Shalba. Yes, but the others are resting a little. I want you to tell me something. If I find the power that I feel, you will be able to create your perfect world that you speak of, Mr. Wards. Wards. That's right, soon this world will disappear and the war will begin. Shalba. And if you find what you are looking for, you can destroy it as you so desire. At that, the hooded man would take off his hood, revealing that he was none other than Heathcliff Kayaba. Wards. Or it's not like that, Kayaba. Kayaba. That's right. Kayaba's thoughts. Kayaba. I don't know why I feel your power, but even so if I find you alive I will kill you again, Kirito. Out of your thoughts. Later at Camp Everfree it was almost getting dark. The boys were now ready to go to Mount Everfree. Shadow Star. Be very careful, Dashi. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Rainbow Dash. Don't worry, I'll be fine. At that point the two would give each other a tender kiss. Shadow Star. Take care and remember that my love for you is with you. Rainbow Dash. And mine too. Issei. Very well, we will return later. At that, Serafall would kiss her beloved Chestnut and then Murayama would also kiss Issei. Serafall Murayama. Take care of yourself, Ice-kun-chan. Issei. I will. Saito. See you soon, Louise. At that Saito would give Louise a passionate kiss and she would reciprocate. Louise. Be very careful. Saito. I will. Zenitsu was nervous, but then Nezuko would kiss him, surprising Zenitsu, but he would reciprocate the kiss. Nezuko. Be careful, Zenitsu, I don't want to lose the boy I love so much and who always protects me. Zenitsu. I'll be fine, don't worry. Tanjiro. Okay, it's time to go, guys. Applejack. Let's show who we are. Inosuke. Ha 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 ha, get ready, damn why the great Inosuke Hashibira will cut off your heads. Issei. Okay, let's give it to friends. All? Yes. So Issei, Saito, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke together with Rainbow Dash and Applejack would run towards Mount Everfree. Chapter 12. Mount Everfree, the spider demon family appears. Previously our protagonists along with their friends arrived at the Everfree camp where after some events such as Issei finding out that Seraph and Murayama were pregnant and that made him happy and that Louise was also pregnant which made Saito very happy, then Glorious asked our protagonists for help with a problem that was in the Everfree forests for which Issei and Saito joined with Tanjiro and Zenitsu and Inosuke and also Applejack and Rainbow Dash. They left for Mount Everfree. What will happen now? Find out. Hit the new intro. Our protagonists were already seeing Mount Everfree. Issei. And do you smell those demons, Tanjiro? Tanjiro. Yes, they are on the mountain, but we need a strategy, so Inosuke and Applejack will check the mountain. You, Issei and Saito, along with Rainbow Dash, will also inspect this area. Zenitsu. And what should I do, Tanjiro? Tanjiro. You'll have to go alone. Zenitsu. Well, okay, I guess I have no choice. Saito. Okay, we're ready now. Derflinger. Let's go and kick some ass. So the boys would divide. Meanwhile, Tanjiro, Inosuke and Applejack were searching all over the mountain until they saw some campers tied up in threads. Tanjiro. It's like when we faced those hunters on Mount Natagumo. Applejack. There is a way to free the campers. Inosuke. Possibly if we just have to find the demon that is causing this, and I know how to do it. At that, Inosuke would stick his swords into the ground and the following would happen. Some campers had swords, but luckily Tanjiro, Inosuke and Applejack defended themselves, being careful not to get cut. Meanwhile, Zenitsu would be searching for the spider demon he had faced until he found him. Spider demon. Oh my, it's you. Have you come to confront me again? Zenitsu. So, this time I'll do it without being asleep. At that, Zenitsu would get into position to execute the first lightning stance. Zenitsu's thoughts. Zenitsu. I have to be like this, he doesn't know that I can already face him without the need to be asleep, so I have to do the same strategy I did that time. Out of your thoughts. The following would happen. Thus Zenitsu would be able to finish off the spider demon. Zenitsu. The good thing is that this time I wasn't poisoned, because if I was I would have already died, but well, I'll have to wait for the boys to finish off the other spider demons. Back with Tanjiro and Inosuke and Applejack. They were heading towards where the spider demon was, but Inosuke would throw Tanjiro through the skies. Tanjiro. Thanks, it's so refreshing. And that Tanjiro would see Nakam, but he would remember that she was suffering, so before using a water posture, Tanjiro deviated, falling next to Nakam, who was scared when she saw Tanjiro. Nakam. TTT, you are the hunter from that time. Tanjiro. My name is Tanjiro Kamado and don't be scared, I won't do anything to you, I just want to help you. Nakam. To help. Tanjiro. You must suffer a lot being a demon, but I know how to make you human again. Nakam. Really? But as if that's impossible. Tanjiro. Well, not for me, friend Issei Hyodo, but just give me your hand and come with me. At that, Nakam would fearfully grab Tanjiro's hand and then hug him. Nakam. Thanks, Tanjiro-san. Tanjiro. You're welcome, if you can make yourself small, come into the box I have here. Luckily, Nakam was able to make herself small and fit inside the box. Tanjiro. Well, I think the mission is almost accomplished. At that, Tanjiro would turn around, seeing Inosuke and Applejack, who looked at him surprised. Inosuke. Okay, silly, I didn't expect that, but when it comes to you, what can you do? Applejack. Now we have to go with the others. Meanwhile, with Issei and Saito and Rainbow Dash. They were running around looking for the demons. Issei. Where can those demons be? Saito. I have no idea, but I'm starting to get bored. Rainbow Dash. We better hurry, don't you think? At that moment, the three of them would see a shadow in the skies, and when they looked up they could see no one more and no one less than Rui, who was looking at them without interest. Issei. And who the hell is that? Saito. I don't know, but it's scary. At that, Rui would leave. Rui's thoughts. Rui. Let them take care of them, I have no interest in taking those two. Out of your thoughts. Minutes later. Now the three of them were walking along a river until they saw a demon girl. Rainbow Dash. Finally some action, you're mine, silly. And that Rainbow Dash with her new powers would be going at maximum speed until. Sister Spider Demon. Father. Rainbow Dash. Hey, who are you calling father? Then the father Spider Demon would fall from the sky, surprising the children. Derflinger. Don't buck with me, that guy is huge. At that moment the father Spider Demon was going to attack the boys, but they dodged his attack. Saito. Take this, damn it. At that, Saito would nail Derflinger to the demon's arm. Author's note. Something like Tanjiro, end of note. At that point the demon would start to move his arm until with a movement of his arm, he would send Saito flying. Issei. Looks like we'll have to get serious. Meanwhile, Saito had fallen in a place in the forest, but he was injured. Saito. Shit, that hurt. Derflinger. You don't need to say it, mate, but where are we? Saito. I don't know, but we'll have to find out. On that. Rui. If you value your life, don't move, Gandalf. At that, Saito would turn around and see Rui. Saito. Hey, and how the hell do you know about me? Rui. My leader told us about you and that Sekiryuutei, but you won't live to tell the tale or be happy. I'll just take you to my leader and that's it, don't resist. That would make Saito angry. Saito. I'm not going to let you come and say stupid things and want to take me to your stupid leader. Rui. Then I'll have to take you dead then. Saito. Before that I'll cut off that disgusting head of yours. Rui. I see you have guts, I want to see you trying. At that Rui would lift part of his hair showing his other eye. Rui. You think you're going to beat someone like me, someone from the demon moons? That had surprised Saito. Saito's thoughts. Saito. Damn, it's a demonic moon, Tanjiro says they are the ones who have the most musin blood, plus I'm hurt because of that big demon, come on Saito, concentrate, you can't lose. Out of your thoughts. At that Rui would be looking at Saito with a very serious face. Rui. I don't like your face, it's too thoughtful, or is it that you think you can defeat me? At that point, Rui would start attacking Saito with his threads, but Saito managed to dodge some of his attacks, but some of Rui's threads would manage to damage Saito. Rui. You should calm down, just let yourself be captured, only then will I not kill you. Derflinger. Shit, mate, that idiot is really strong. Saito. Shut up, I'm not going to let anyone capture me. In that, Rui would throw other threads that would hurt Saito, and then he would kick him, causing him to fall into a bush, and then he would punch him in the face, causing Saito to start bleeding from his mouth. Rui. Maybe it's my imagination, but you're trying to get close to me to cut my head off because if you want to do it, I'm here, try it. At that point, Saito would try to cut Rui's neck, but would be surprised to see that the Derflinger blade did not pierce Rui's neck. Derflinger. Impossible, I can't get through the neck. Saito. Damn. Rui. I told you once, you can't beat me. At that Rui would give a big kick to Saito making him crash. Rui. My body is stronger than any thread you manipulated. If you can't cut my threads, it will be impossible for you to cut off my head. On that. Saito. You won't beat me. At that Saito would start running towards Rui. Rui. You still don't want to understand, right? Then Rui would throw his threads, but Saito was cutting the threads since he had his Gandalf magic runes activated. Saito. I managed to cut his strings. Derflinger. Well done, mate, now keep it up. Then Rui seeing that he would only be seeing everything seriously. Rui. Hey, you don't think those are the strongest threads, do you? At that Rui's hands and threads would turn red. Rui. Cutting thread cage blood technique. At that a cage of threads would surround Saito. Rui. I don't care what they ask me, I've had enough of you, goodbye. At that point the threads were already getting closer to Saito. Sato's thoughts. Saito. Damn, I don't think I can cut these threads and they're very different from the ones I saw. It can't be impossible. I won't succeed. I'll die. Meanwhile with Issei and Rainbow Dash. Issei was facing the father spider demon while Rainbow Dash was facing the sister spider demon. Issei. Damn if they are strong, but we have to keep fighting. Greg. You're right, mate. Rainbow Dash. Where the heck are the others? Back with Saito. This was in his headspace. Sato's mind. Saito. It's my end, I suppose so, but it's not possible after everything I've been living in this world, after everything I suffered. I'm sorry guys, forgive me, please forgive me Louise, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't come back. And that out of nowhere Saito would appear in another place in his memories. Author's note. Listen to this epic song for this epic moment, end of note. In Saito I would see that I was at Tristane's magic school, and I would see that everyone was happy, but I would see Professor Colbert. Saito. Mr. Colbert. And that Professor Colbert would be watching Saito. Colbert. Young Saito, breathe, control your breathing, and become a fire god. That would make Saito open his eyes impressed, and he would appear in another place in his memories, but from when he spoke with Tanjiro. Tanjiro. You see, the dance of the fire god is a dance that my father used to do under the snow despite being very sick. Saito. And how he could dance without freezing. Tanjiro. You'll see, if you manage to master the correct way of breathing, you will never tire. If you manage to awaken the dance of the fire god, you will be someone like me, even if you can only use one posture. Saito. Okay, I'll try hard. Tanjiro. That's the attitude, besides, Miss Louise always believed in you, so be strong for her. Saito. I will do it, I have to protect her no matter what happened, apart from being her guardian spirit, I am also her husband, and it is my duty to protect her with my life. Tanjiro. That's how you talk. Saito. Thank you Tanjiro. Back in reality. Saito would concentrate his breathing, and Derflinger would begin to cover himself in fire just like Gandalf's runes. Saito. Dance of the fire god. Thus giving a twist, cutting the red threads. Saito. Vowels. Rui. Impossibly. Thus throwing many threads, hurting Saito, but he would not stop running. Sato's thoughts. Saito. Don't stop, keep running. If you hesitate, you might end up dead. Also, I might be left motionless, like Tanjiro said, but I don't care, that's why I have to do it. Now, run. Louise and your future son are waiting for you. Out of your thoughts. Saito would cut the strings until he was already in charge of Rui. Rui scared. Wah. Thus the two began a fight where Saito easily cut Rui's threads until he saw the thread of the gap. Saito. There you are, the thread of the gap, it's time to defeat you, Rui, even if that means dying with you, I will do it. Meanwhile Issei would feel Sato's power. Issei. SL Potter Saito. Greg. He's going to need help, buddy. Issei. Let's do it, Dragon Blaster. So the Dragon Blaster went towards where Rui was destroying the threads and Saito would nail Derflinger into Rui's neck. Rui. Impossible, my threads were destroyed. Saito. The difference between you and me, Rui, is that you are nobody. So Saito would cut off Rui's head and he would be scared and incredulous that he was defeated. Rui. It can't be possible, if he said you wouldn't be able to defeat me. So Rui would disappear. Saito quickly runs to where Issei and Rainbow Dash are fighting, arriving and cutting off the head of the father spider demon, impressing Issei and Rainbow Dash. Sister spider demon. No, it can't be. At that Saito would appear behind the demon about to cut off her head but would stop. Saito. You can change and you won't suffer anymore. At that the spider demon's sister would stand up and accept Sato's hand. Then Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke and Applejack would arrive, but Tanjiro would be surprised to see that Saito was able to do the dance of the fire god. Minutes later. Issei, using the bishop promotion, would manage to heal everyone's wounds. Issei. Well, everyone is cured now. Saito. We can return to camp. Applejack. That's right, it's 9:30 at night. Tanjiro. Hey Issei, you can turn Miss Nakam and the girl back into humans. Issei. Yes, but we'll do it later, and it cost me a lot to get another box here for her. Rainbow Dash. Well, let's go back. Besides, Shadow Star must be waiting for me. Minutes later. At Camp Everfree. Outside at the dock, Serafall and Murayama and also Louise were waiting for Issei and Saito, and also there was Shadow Star waiting for Rainbow Dash. Serafall. Ice-chan has taken too long. Murayama. I know, but you have to have faith in him and in others. Louise. Yes, I'm sure everyone is fine. Shadow Star. If they cheer up they will be fine, besides, Dashi is strong, I know that. On that. Issei. Sera-chan, Murayama-chan. Saito. Louise. Rainbow Dash. Shadow Star. At that the girls would turn around and the rest of the group would come out from where they were watching Issei, Saito, Tanjiro, Zenitsu and Inosuke, and also Applejack and Rainbow Dash. At that point everyone would go around hugging their friends. Nezuko. Yes, they did. Twilight. For a moment we thought something bad had happened to them. Spikes. We think the same. Pinkie Pie. I'm sure everything that happened to them was incredible. At that moment, Serafall and Murayama quickly hugged Issei, who hugged them back. Serafall. We thought something bad had happened to you, Ice-chan. Issei. You have nothing to worry about. Mitsuri. By the way, Tanjiro-kun, you have some demons inside those boxes. Tanjiro. Long story, but I'll tell everyone later. Saito. By the way, how are the others at school? Louise. Everything is fine. Adagio. Yes, in addition to the fact that we were taking care of Serafall and Murayama and Louise. Arya. That's true. Inosuke. Hey, I smell a strange smell. Zenitsu. I hear sobs and I also hear someone running towards us where they are coming from. Sanada. Hey, look over there. At that, everyone would look towards the entrance of the camp and when they saw who Issei and Serafall were, they would be surprised to see that there came running no one more and no less than Kunu, who was crying while running. Kunu. Dad. At that point Issei would start running towards Kunu and these two would hug each other tightly, making the story seem very tender to everyone. Issei. Kunu-chan, it's you. I thought they had done something to you. Kunu. They didn't do anything to me, but I'm glad you're safe and alive, like Great Red and Office-chan said. In that, the two would approach the others. Fluttershy. Oh, how cute you look, who is it? Issei. She is Kunu-chan, daughter of Yasaka. Kunu. No, I'm not your daughter anymore, I'm just your daughter, Dad. Serafall. It's good that you're okay. Murayama. That's true. Rarity. I think we should go inside and rest. Shadow Star. You must be tired like the others, right Dashi? Rainbow Dash. A little. Sunset. Well, you must be hungry, so let's go get something to eat. All? Yes. At that moment, everyone was walking back to their cabins, but at that, an explosion would knock everyone to the ground and those in the cabin would see the blast. Issei. Cough cough, Sera-chan and Murayama-chan are fine. Serafall. Murayama. Yes, we are fine. Saito. Louise, everything's fine. Louise. You are. And that Kunu was being hugged by Fluttershy. Fluttershy. You're okay, little Kunu. Kunu. Yes, thank you, miss. Tanjiro. Who made that explosion? On that. How spectacular, no better than that, it's splendid, it was a good explosion. Long time no see no Zenitsu. In that fire of the explosion some demons would come out that Tanjiro and Zenitsu would recognize these were none other than Enmu and Kagaku. Tanjiro. Impossible, you should be dead. Zenitsu. There's no way they're still alive. Kagaku. Well, you're wrong, idiot. With or without Mr. Musen alive, we won't rest until you die. Enmu. That's right, and there are more people with us. Hakao would come out of the fire. And Kakabiel would also appear. Hakao. Long time no see Sekiryuutei. Kakabiel. Finally, damn Red Emperor Dragon, I can kill you. Issei. How is it impossible for you to be alive at least? And that Issei would remember when Fried appeared in the Battle of the Bands and when Diodora appeared with Falcon in the Friendship Games. Issei. So Fried and Diodora weren't the only ones, you were also here without me realizing it. Greg. We should have seen this coming. Seraffal. So that's Kakabiel himself. Murayama. And the cacao that Ice-kun told me about when he told me about his adventures. At that moment, Falcon would emerge from the fire with his stone golem. Falcon. Hello again Gandalf and Valier and also all your friends, I give you greetings. Sunset. It's her again. Twilight too. Damn, this is bad. Saito. What are you all looking for here? Before they could respond, Inosuke would launch an attack. Inosuke. You can't just come out of nowhere and ruin the moment when we were about to get something to eat, you two idiots. At that point a green magic circle would cover the villains and a draft would make Inosuke full with the boys again. Mitsuri. What was that? Falcon. We are not alone. Kakabiel. Red Emperor Dragon and you stupid Gandalf, there are two people who want to destroy you two more than we do. At the front of everyone would appear none other than Shalba accompanied by Wards and Kaaba. Shalba. Finally we meet again, damn Sekiryuutei. Wards. Long time no see Gandalf. Saito. No, it can't be you Wards. Issei. Impossible, it is not possible that you are alive Shalba Beelzebub. Murayama. He must be the one you told me about, Ice-kun, the one who turned you into a crazy dragon. Issei. Yes. Seraffal. If that's true, I knew it too. At that point, Murayama would take out his sacred gear, impressing Kaaba since he recognized Kirito's swords. Kaaba. I finally found Kirito's energy and it came from you. Tanjiro. What do they want? Louise. You have to answer what the hell you want here. Saito. Answer Wards if you don't want me to cut off your head. Wards. This is our goal, but it's not just mine, it's Shalba's too. Issei. And what is basically that goal that you desire? Shalba. You see, Wards told me what he's trying to do in his world and that's what we want to do. Wards. We will declare war on this world. Our declaration of war would destroy this world and you won't stop us. Shalba. Nothing will stop us and this world will be destroyed and then all of you will die, did you hear stupid Sekiryuutei and Gandalf? Falcon. This world is lost. Hakao Kakabiel. Nothing will stop us, not even her friends. Kagaku. And if they dare, we will kill them. Enmu. And nothing will stop us. In the sky a flying ship would appear, the same ship that Wards used when he declared war on Tristane, and all the villains would get on board. Wards. See how this world is destroyed Gandalf. Shalba. See you never ha 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 ha. Thus the ship would leave everyone surprised by the threat that was in front of them. Rainbow Dash. We have to evacuate the cares. Quickly Rainbow Dash would run and in a few seconds some civilians were already at the Everfree camp. But even though the city was evacuated, Wards and Shalba and all the villains were ready to destroy the world. Chapter 13. Let's save this world, the battle begins. While Canterlot City was being destroyed by villains, the kids would be watching everything. Issei. It's impossible for him to be alive if I destroyed him. Saito. The same thing happened with Wards. Louise, with her vacuum spell, ended up finishing off Falcon and Wards. Seraffal. And what do we do now Ice-chan? Murayama. We can't let them destroy this world. Louise. But what can we do? That's what Issei and Saito would be thinking about until. Issei. We'll go stop them. Saito. That's right. Seraffal. But it's dangerous Ice-chan. Murayama. Besides, you two won't be able to go alone. Issei. But you are pregnant, so we don't want you to take any risks. Saito. Exactly. Louise. Look at this. At that Louise would take out her magic wand and then say. Louise. Void protection. Thus a wide energy would surround Seraffal and Murayama and Louise. Louise. This is a very strong protection spell so you don't have to worry about us. Seraffal. Besides, this world needs us. Murayama. That's why we all have to fight together. And that Issei would see the others who were securing everyone who was in the Everfree camp. Issei. They are right, we need to be together, that's why we will need more help. Minutes later. Issei. Well, we together with Tanjiro and Mitsuri, together with Zenitsu and Inosuke, and also Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Sunset Shimmer, and the Twilight of this world, and also with the help of the Twilight of Equestria, we will go to the city to stop the villains. So everyone would nod. Saito. Well, Kunu and Nezuko and also the Dazzlings and Fluttershy and Rarity and Pinkie Pie and the Spikes will stay here taking care of the camp, understood? All. Understood. So those who would stay to guard the camp would enter, but not before Tanjiro asked Nezuko to take care of the 2 demons they brought. Tanjiro. Well, I think it's time to go, right? Issei. That's right. Saito. Now we have to do it, let's save this world. All. Yes. So the boys would start running towards the city. Minutes later the boys were already in the city, but they would realize that the ship was higher above the grey clouds. Issei. Listen, you take care of those who are here, Saito and I will go for the ship. Tanjiro. Okay, but be careful. So everyone would split up while Issei and Saito continued on their way. Earthlinger. Exactly how do they plan to get towards ship? Issei. Easy, we'll fly. Saito. I remind you that I don't have wings. Issei. I mean I'll carry you on my back while I fly, okay? Saito. Ah, okay now yes. Meanwhile, Zenitsu would enter a building and encounter Kagaku. Kagaku. I see you decided to come face me. Zenitsu. This time I'll kill you and I won't let you come back to life. This is how the fight would begin. Kagaku began to use lightning stances while Zenitsu dodged and received some attacks. Zenitsu. I see that you are still the same as that day when I killed you. Kagaku. Shut up. Damn idiot, I'll send you to eternal rest along with the old Zenil. Thus Kagaku would continue launching attacks at Zenitsu who had trouble dodging some attacks. Until at one point Kagaku would use one of the lightning stances causing Zenitsu to be ejected and the following would happen. So Zenitsu would beat Kagaku and he would be tired. Zenitsu. I did it, but it's still been a long time since I used the 7th stance, but I'd better hurry up and join the others. Meanwhile Murayama was sitting on the floor as she had faced Heathcliff Kayaba and ended up winning. Murayama. I have to find the others. So Murayama would go and look for the others. Minutes later the boys had gathered together. Twilight. And how did everyone do? Murayama. Everything was fine, but it took me a while to beat the guy called Kayaba. Seraffal. It was hard for me to face Kakabiel, but if it weren't for the help of the girls I wouldn't have been able to win. Tanjiro. It was difficult for us to face Enmu and Kakao, but we were able to beat them. Zenitsu. It was hard for me to face Kagaku, but I was able to defeat him. Mitsuri. Hey, but someone is missing. Inosuke. Maybe she. Then Falcot would appear on top of his stone golem. Falcot. Wow, it's good to see you, but it won't be so easy to beat me. Inosuke. We'll see about that, head-on assault. So Inosuke would launch an attack just like the boys starting a battle. Tanjiro. Okay, water breathing 2nd stance water wheel. Thus the water wheel would hurt the stone golem's arm, but it would regenerate. Tanjiro. Seems to regenerate quickly. Mitsuri. My turn, breathing of love, 2nd posture, distressing love. Thus Mitsuri's attack would damage the golem, but it would regenerate. Seraffal. Murayama, Louise, let's do a combo attack. Murayama Louise. Understood. Thus the 3 would create a combined attack, but the golem would regenerate again. Zenitsu. My turn lightning breathing 1st stance lightning flash. Thus the attack would damage the golem. Zenitsu. 6 times. But the golem would regenerate. Tanjiro. Dance of the Fire God, 8th pose, immense flaming mist. Thus Tanjiro's attack would hurt the golem and it would not regenerate. Falcot. They're not going to beat me that easily, so golem destroys them now. Thus the golem would begin to destroy everything. Twilight. Let's try a combo attack. So Twilight and Sunset and Rainbow Dash and Twilight 2 and Applejack would do a combined attack, thus damaging the golem. Inosuke. I'll finish him off. So Inosuke would run until he found himself face to face with the golem and Falcot. Falcot. You will not be able to destroy my golem. Inosuke. We'll see about that, Breath of the Beast, 5th Fang, Cutting Madness. Thus many cuts would destroy the golem, only Falcot was missing, but Inosuke's mask would fall off. Inosuke. Now die Breath of the Beast new idea Flying Cut. Thus Inosuke would throw one of his swords cutting off Falcot's head and thus dying. Seraph. Lola Gramos. Murayama. Now we just have to wait for Ice-kun and Saito-san to defeat Wards and Shalba. Meanwhile with Issei and Saito. They had already arrived at Canterlot High School. Saito. Exactly why we came all the way to Canterlot School. Issei. Well, the ship must be up, but we still need a boost. So Issei would take out his dragon wings. Issei. Now get on my back. Saito. Okay, this will be intense. So Saito would climb onto Issei's back and he would begin to fly towards the dark clouds. Meanwhile up in the sky there was Ward's ship. Where there were Wards and Shalba watching the sky. Wards. Looks like everyone died. Shalba. Yes, but they still won't be able to defeat us. Wards. What he asked me was where the hell is that damn Gandalf? Shalba. He must be with that damn Sekiryuutei. Meanwhile, Issei and Saito continued flying in the dark clouds. Saito. How the hell are we going to get to the ship? Issei. Don't worry, we'll make it. So Issei and Saito would start singing the next song. The song was about to end and Issei and Saito would manage to get out of the dark clouds until they would see the blue sky and white clouds. Issei. Step by step I will go and I will persist. Saito. Issei. At any distance, I will have your leaveness and your luove. So Issei would continue flying on his way to confront Wards and Shalba. Chapter 14 and finale. The battle ends, a happy ending. So without further ado. Hit the new intro. Meanwhile down in Canterlot City. The others were waiting for Issei and Saito to finish off Wards and Shalba. Tanjiro. Do you think they can do it? Applejack. Well, knowing Issei and Saito, it's more than certain that they too will win this. Rainbow Dash. If we just have to wait for them to triumph in this battle. All the boys were talking. Serafall and Murayama and Louise were worried but had to calm down. Thoughts of Serafall Murayama. Serafall Murayama. Please Ice-kun-chan, be careful and don't die, we are waiting for you, please come back with us. Out of your thoughts. Louise would be looking at the sky while thinking. Louise's thoughts. Louise. Saito love, please be careful, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, I know what Wards is capable of. If I mercilessly kill Prince Wales, I don't know what he can do to you. Out of your thoughts. Meanwhile Issei and Saito continued flying while they saw the blue sky and white clouds. Issei. Vessel Barco. Saito. Not yet anything. But then the two would look higher and see the ship. Issei. It's the ship. Saito. Then let's go for it. So Issei would fly towards the ship and it would land on the deck of the ship. Issei. Wow, that ship has style. Saito. Yes, but now we just have to find Wards and Shalba. On that. Shalba. Looks like they made it here. Wards. But just you two. So Issei and Saito would turn around seeing Wards and Shalba in front of them. Issei. We meet again. Saito. It seems that this is as far as you two go. So Saito would grab Derflinger's sheath and pull Derflinger out of its sheath a little. Saito. We will fight with everything against you too, right Issei? Issei. True. So Issei would take out the boosted gear. Shalba. You two are no match for us. Wards. You guys are still the same as always. So Shalba would take off his cloak while Wards drew his sword. Wards. Now you'll see Gandalf, I'll kill you as I should have killed you, just like I did with Prince Wayne. That would make Saito angry. Saito. Miserable bastard, I still have to avenge Prince Wayne, you killed him without any mercy, and that made Henrietta suffer. So Saito would bring out Derflinger ready to fight. Saito. And that's why I guess it's my destiny to defeat you, I'm not going to forgive you for having done that to Prince Wayne, did you hear me? Wards. Show me then. Thus Wards would get into a combat stance. Shalba. Well damn Sekiryuutei, this time you won't humiliate me again, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to take away the girls who truly love you, just like the dragon of the apocalypse took everything from you. Angry Issei. Nobody will take Sera-chan and Murayama-chan away from me. You heard me, because I was weak I lost 4 girls who truly loved me, but I still know that they must be watching over me from beyond, so now I'll kill you, damn it. So I would shout. Issei. Ascalon. Dragon. Blade. So the Ascalon sword would appear in the boosted gear. Shalba. So that's the Dragon Slayer sword, even though the Angel faction betrayed you, you still have the sword that Michael gave you. Issei. This sword belongs to me and no one else. So Issei would get into a combat pose just like Shalba. Issei. Saito. Now we will finish you too. So Issei and Saito would launch an attack just like Wards and Shalba. Issei began to stab Shalba, but he defended himself from some of Issei's attacks with his magic circles. While Saito and Wards were fighting in a sword duel where both were evenly matched. Wards. I see that you are faster than before Gandalf, but still you are no one against me, you are still the same commoner. Saito. That's what you think, but still, a simple familiar who is a commoner destroyed your entire damn fleet. So the two would continue fighting. while Issei had activated his balance breaker starting to hit Shalba many times. Issei. It seems I'm managing to subdue him. Greg. Yes, but don't get too confident, my friend. So Issei would continue hitting Shalba. While Saito was still fighting against wards and wards was gaining more ground. Saito. I see you're not the same as before. Wards. It's impossible if I became stronger than you, it's not possible that you're beating me. So Saito would send wards to the sky with a kick just like Issei did with Shalba, and these two would fall to the ground. Issei Saito. It's over. At that moment Issei and Saito were about to finish off wards and Shalba, but at that. Shalba. Wow. Thus Shalba would launch an explosive attack at Issei and Saito, damaging them and causing Issei to lose his balance breaker. Wards. Now take this. Thus wards would launch a Chidori type attack at Issei and Saito, damaging them both more. Issei Saito. Shit. Shalba wards. Now disappear you damn people. Thus wards would launch an electric attack. While Shalba launched a very powerful magic attack damaging Issei and Saito. Meanwhile down in Canterlot City. The boys would hear the explosion. Zenitsu. They have to win, right? They can't lose so easily. Twilight. Don't worry Zenitsu, I met Issei and Saito and the girls when I came to this world and they showed me that they are stronger than anyone in the universe. Seraffal. Murayama-san and I know that Ice-chan is going to win no matter what happens. Murayama. Also, Ice-kun has our support and that of everyone in this world. Louise. And Saito, we all support them too. Tanjiro. They are right, that's why we must not lose hope. Mitsuri. We must trust that these two will save this world. Inosuke. Ha then let's support those two from here. Back to the ship in the sky. The dust would clear and Issei and Saito would be seen injured and standing, but the most injured was Issei, since he looked tired and had some scratches. Shalba. It seems they want to die, right? Boards. Well, we will grant their wish. Sato's thoughts. Saito. Damn, they are very strong, it seems that this time we lost, forgive me everyone, forgive me Louise for not being strong enough to defeat wards, and forgive me Henrietta, Tabitha and Sylphid too. Out of your thoughts. Issei's thoughts. Issei. Damn he got stronger and with that idiot wards at his side, he's stronger it seems like I'm going to die sorry Drake for what I did in our world to make your name look ridiculous. Drake. You don't have to apologize, buddy. You know, I like being with you, despite always hearing the name of the Op-Eye Dragon. You are the best carrier I've ever had and the only one who doesn't see me as a weapon, but as a friend. In addition, you became a 100% dragon thanks to the fights you had in this world. Issei. Hey I guess you're right, but still I guess that even if I die I'll always be with Sarah-chan and Murayama-chan, but I'll be able to meet them with Zenovia and Arena and Kaneko and Kuroka, I hope they're okay, and I ask if they know what happened to me and Sarah-chan and Murayama-chan. Greg. Who knows, buddy, but we'll both die with dignity. Issei. You're right, friend. Out of your thoughts. At that point wards and Shalba had their attacks ready. Wards Shalba. Goodbye damn Gandalf and Sekiryuutei. At that point the two would launch their attacks. But before the attacks could hit, something would fall from the sky that would destroy the attacks of wards and Shalba. Wards. What the hell? Shalba. Something fell from the sky. At that Issei and Saito would open their eyes. Erflinger. What the hell? Saito. And that sword. Seeing the sword in front of them, Issei would start to cry since he knew whose sword it was, and it was none other than. Issei. It's Zenovia-chan's Durandal sword. Shalba. What do you have? That sword would appear to be still a simple Excalibur sword. Issei. You are not wrong about that, Shalba, this sword is more than just an Excalibur sword. At that moment, a light would appear behind Issei, and Saito would be impressed, but he would get up, increasing his magical power even more. Saito. So Issei, you know that sword. Issei. Yes, this sword belonged to him. At that Issei would grab the handle of the Durandal. Issei. To one of the girls who gave her life for me. So Issei would raise the Durandal sword and the light behind Issei and Saito would disappear and the souls of Zenovia, Irina, Kaneko and Kuroka would be shown. Saito. What the hell Issei, there are about 4 girls behind you. So Issei would turn around and start to cry since there were the 4 girls he loves who gave their lives to save him. Issei crying. Girls are sniff are you. Irina. Tilo Dejimos Issei-kun. Zenovia. We will always be by your side taking care of you like angels. Kaneko. Now using the Durandal sword you and your friend can beat Issei-senpai. Kuroka. So hold that sword tight and defeat Shalba. So Issei would wipe his tears. Issei. I hear. Saito. It's time. At that, Sato's magic runes would be engulfed in flames just as Derflinger would begin to be covered in flames. Saito. Dance of the Fire God. Boards and Shalba would be scared when they felt Issei and Sato's power increase. Boards. They will not defeat us, de. Thus Wards would launch a stronger lightning attack than before. But Issei and Saito would destroy the attack very easily. Boards is scared. It's impossible. Scared Shalba. No, you guys won't beat us. So the four would launch into the attack, colliding their attacks, blows, and swords, while Issei flew with his dragon wings. He would hurt Shalba until Issei would see that Wards was about to attack Saito, but he would throw Durandal like a boomerang that would hit Wards, and then Durandal would return to Issei. Shalba. Muri. And that Issei would hit Shalba, sending him towards the deck of the ship, just as Saito would do with Wards. And that Shalba would be hit by the souls of Zenovia and Arena and Kaneko and Kuroka. Shalba scared. It's impossible, you are just souls. Kaneko. You're wrong. Kuroka. We are the guardian angels of Issei Naya. Arena. And if someone dares to kill him. Zenovia. We won't forgive him. Thus Wards and Shalba would be sent flying to a corner of the ship. Issei. Wards and Shalba are over. Saito. This battle is won. Shalba. Wards. No, we will not lose. Thus the two would rise to the sky, preparing a strong attack. Issei. Listo Saito. Saito. Listo. So the two would run and jump, and when Saito jumped, he would grow wide angel wings, with which he would begin to fly together with Issei. Shalba. Wards. Muere. Thus they would launch their attacks, but Issei and Saito would easily destroy them, and Issei would concentrate his breathing just like Saito. Issei Saito. Dance of the Fire God. Author's note. Something like what Tanjiro did in the video at the end of the note. At that moment 2 circles of fire would appear that would hit Shalba and Wards on their necks. Issei Saito. Blue sky. Shalba. Wards. No. Thus Wards and Shalba would disappear forever. While Issei and Saito would fall on the ship. Issei. Woo Ojuo, we did it Saito, we won. Saito. It was amazing. Derflinger. Ha 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 ha, buddy, you and Issei are really cool. At that the boys would get up, but Issei would notice that the Durandal sword was not there. Issei. And the Durandal sword. Zenovia. The sword returned to where it belongs in our world next to my grave. Issei. Even if they are their souls, I'm glad to see them again. Arena. We're glad you didn't die that time. Issei. Then you know. Kuroka. Yes, we know everything Naya, but that's not all, because we know what else happened in our world while you were here, Issei Naya. Issei. And what happened? Kaneko. After what happened, Azazel Sensei got together with Kiba, Gasper and Kunu, and also with the help of Aden-sama, Office, and Great Red, they made sure that Surziches no longer led the demon faction, which is now led by Vanillana and Zutika-sama, and Greyfear remains the Gremory's servant. Issei. But what happened to Surziches and the girls, and also with Michael? Kuroka. Well, they were executed and killed by Office and Great Red, and also by Lord Citri and Lady Citri Naya, so basically the idiots who didn't believe in your innocence, and that of Serafall and Murayama Naya, were worth shit. Saito. That's literally murky. Derflinger. Greg. You really had to say that, Derf. Derflinger. It was literally the right time to say it. Greg. He's an idiot. Derflinger. You're the only idiot here. Zenovia. Well, we have to go Issei-kun, but remember. Arena. We will always be with you as your guardian angels. Kaneko. And we will always be with you, loving you with all our being. Kuroka. Now be happy together with Serafall and Murayama Naya. So the girls would hug Issei tightly and then give him one last kiss before disappearing. Issei. Bye girls. Saito. Well, time to land this ship. Minutes later. At that point those at the Everfree camp would arrive since the sky was now clear. Pinkie Pie. Wow, it seems like there was a lot of destruction here. In that, Shadow Star would hug Rainbow Dash tightly and she would reciprocate. Nezuko. Hamano. Zenitsu. So Nezuko would first hug her brother and then hug her beloved Zenitsu. Tanjiro. Nezuko, did you bring the boxes? Nezuko. Yes, I brought them, there they are. So Nezuko would point out where the boxes containing Nakam and her daughter, the spider demon sister, are. Kunu. And where is Dad? At that moment, everyone would see the ship and everyone would see in amazement that Issei and Saito were there. Issei. Hello friends, we're back. Saito. And we won. So everyone would start screaming and quickly Serafall and Murayama would hug their beloved chestnut tightly and he would reciprocate the hug. Louise and Saito would give each other a tender and loving kiss and hug each other tightly. Twilight too. I guess this ends well, don't you think so? Twilight. You're right. Spikes. But out of nowhere a portal would appear, alerting the boys and all their friends. Adagio. They had to open the little nose. Arya. What idiots you are. Sonata. If a portal appeared that means that. Scared Spikes. Sonata. And why did they say let's live again? Spikes. We don't know. At the portal, no one else but Sona would appear, accompanied by her parents and Tsubaki, and they were also being accompanied by Caddis. Sona. It seems that it is here. Lady Citri. Yes, that's what Azazel said. Lord Citri. Hey, everyone is watching us. At that moment, Sona and her mother, along with Tsubaki and Caddis, would notice everyone's presence. Seraphal crying. Mom, Dad, it's you Mom. Dad. At that Seraphic would run and hug his parents tightly who would start to cry. Murayama. Caddis. At that Murayama and Caddis would give each other a big hug while both cried. Caddis crying. I missed you so much friend, I couldn't be without my best friend. Murayama, crying. I missed you too and I missed you friend, I missed you so much. At that Serafall would approach Sona. Serafall crying. Hello Sona-chan. Before saying anything else, Sona would hug her sister tightly while she began to burst into tears just like Serafall. Sona crying. Little sister I missed you so much sniff 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 every night I cried because you were no longer by my side, I really missed you so much sniff sniff sniff, but I'm still happy to be able to hug you again sister. Serafall crying. I missed you too Sona-chan, you believed in me just like my parents and the others, you are my sister and you said it, we will always be sisters. So everyone would shed tears of happiness and surprisingly Inosuke would shed tears too. Applejack. Inosuke are you crying? Inosuke crying. Sniff sniff I'm fine sniff sniff something got in my eye. Arya. Tell me you're done. At that Inosuke would blow his nose with a handkerchief that Applejack gave him. Arya. Really? Inosuke. Ready sniff I'm better. At that moment, Serafall's parents would approach Issei and he would get nervous. Lord Citri. Young Issei, you have proven that you are a great man and you have taken care of my daughter very well. Lady Citri. You don't have to be nervous since we accept your relationship with our daughter. Lord Citri. Why we know she's happy with you. Lady Citri. Just promise that you will protect our daughter always and forever. Issei. I promise I will always protect Serac-chan and Murayama-chan because I love them. Caddis. Wow, you finally told him how you felt. Murayama, nervous. Hehe yes, that's right. Tsubaki. I'm glad to see you're okay. Later. The city was being rebuilt while on the mountain you see Issei together with Serafall and Murayama and there were also Saito and Louise and also Sona and Tsubaki and Caddis. Serafall. Then you'll stay here for a while Sona-chan. Sona. If that's the case, I don't want to be far from my sister and this world is very calm and peaceful. Caddis. I'll also stay here since I'd like to get to know your friends better, Murayama-chan. Saito. I would like to know what happened in Tristane. Louise. I'm sure everything is fine there. Henrietta, Tabitha and Sylphid would fall into a portal and that would surprise Saito and Louise. Henrietta. Next time check that your spell is correct. Tabitha. Well, sorry, magicians like me have these problems. Sylphid. Look, there's Saito. So the three girls would throw themselves at Saito. Minutes later. Saito. So all of us who attacked us were executed. Henrietta. That's right, he couldn't go unpunished. Louise. Wow that's it. Erflinger. Returbio Isos Returbio. Sylphid. We can only come from time to time since the spell doesn't last that long. Tabitha. But at least we're glad you and Louise are okay. Then the girls would leave. Issei. Serac-chan and Murayama-chan, there is something you would like to tell them. At that Issei would kneel and he would take out two little boxes, showing that they had 2 engagement rings. Issei. Would you like to marry me? Serafall Murayama Lorano. CCCC Asaptamos Ice Kunchan. So Issei would put the rings on Serafall and Murayama and they would kiss their brown-haired one while the others watched. But later. It was night and Twilight had to return to Equestria. Twilight. Well, I like this vacation and the good thing is that Miss Nakam and her daughter are now human thanks to Issei. Nakam. Take care of yourself, Miss Twilight. Author's note. I gave the sister spider demon a name, she's called Ryuko, end of note. Ryuko. And take care of yourself too, little Spike. Spike. Thanks Ryuko. Twilight. Maybe I'll come on your wedding day Issei, but I can't guarantee anything. Issei. Don't worry, friend. I understand that princesses have their priorities. Twilight. Well, see you. So Twilight and Spike would return to Equestria. Lord Citri. Well, we will return. Lady Citri. Take care of yourselves, my daughters, and Serafall. I hope to meet my future grandson soon. Issei. Hey Lord Citri and Lady Citri, could you send a greeting to Azazel Sensei, Kiba, Gasper, and the others who believed in me and Serafall? Lord Citri. Of course, there's no problem. So Lord Citri and Lady Citri would leave. Tanjiro. I will also marry Mitsuri-chan. Zenitsu. Hey Tanjiro, are you leaving me? Nezuko. Zenitsu can marry me please. That would make everyone shocked and scream, but Tanjiro would calm down. Tanjiro. Of course my sister is happy with you so I trust you Zenitsu. So Zenitsu would start jumping for joy, followed by Nezuko and the others. Time skip 12 months later. Author's note. Listen to this beautiful soundtrack for this moment end of note. At that time Issei married Serafall and Murayama, and also Tanjiro married Mitsuri and Zenitsu married Nezuko, and also at that time Issei's children had already been born. Serafall's baby was a girl, so Issei named her Violet because of the color of Serafall's eyes, and Murayama also had a girl whom Issei and she named Rossi. Louise had a beautiful baby girl whom she decided to call Valeria, a name that Saito suggested. While the others were happy, everyone also lived together in peace and harmony, and one day when Twilight returned from Equestria, Sunset Shimmer confessed to her that she was in love with her, and since that day the two are a couple and are always in contact. Inosuke wanted to be single, but he gave Applejack a chance, and these two began a relationship from their first date. Sona became the student council president of Canterlot High School, and her vice president is Tsubaki who stayed with her, but there were also Nakam and Ryuko who helped the student council. Current events. Everyone was on a mountain having a picnic while Issei, Serafall, and Murayama, who had their babies in their arms, were looking at the beautiful blue sky. Saito. So seeing the view, huh? So Saito and Louise, who was holding her baby in her arms, would sit next to the boys. Derflinger. Wow, everything is peaceful and quiet now and it feels good. Greg. I say the same to Derflinger. Issei. Everything ended months ago, and the truth is this is peace and life. Saito. Who would have thought that 5 boys with different types of magic who had suffered betrayal would end up in such a peaceful world facing threats from each other's past? Louise. How logical and also crazy. Serafall. But fate brought us to this world and that's how we all met. Murayama. I never regret being in this world with the boy I love. Issei. We also met new friends and that's what I like about this friendship we have. Saito. I love you friends. So the 5 would give each other a group hug. Who knew? Dad, the girls say everything is ready, come eat. So the boys would start walking and behind them the souls of Zenovia and Irina and Kaneko and Kuroka would appear. Zenovia. It's good that Issei-kun is happy now. Irina. Yes, I was afraid that he would die because of those damn traitors. Kaneko. If it weren't for us and Serafall-sama and Murayama-san Issei-senpai, he would have died. Kuroka. The good thing is that it didn't happen. Hey, by the way, can we go to the picnic, Naya, please? Zenovia. Well, I guess nothing bad will happen. Irina. So what are we waiting for? Kaneko. Come on. So the 4 of them would go to where the picnic was. And in Colorado this fanfic is over. End. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.